is suing her former live-in boyfriend, machinist Tim Palmer, for damages to her home as the result of an assault. Billy also claims Tim put flour in the gas tank of her car.
Order. Come to order. All rise. Hello. Thank you. Your Honor, this is case number 230 on the calendar in the matter of King versus Palmer. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Ms. King, you and the defendant lived together for a period of time. You claimed two things. First, that he damaged your home while he was in a rage. And second, that he caused some damage to your car when he put some stuff in the gas tank.
Yes.
How long were you a couple?
It was about 2 months before we decided to move in together.
And how long did you actually live together?
About 2.5 months.
Did you move into his house, or did he move into yours, or did you take a place together?
We actually moved into a place together.
So you moved in together, and what happened on the night in question, which was?
November 21st.
What year?
Of last year, 2001.
Okay, go ahead.
It started out with him, he went to Pool League that night.
You went what?
To Pool League. He was on a pool team. And he had come home a little later than usual. I was already in bed. And I got up and was asking him, you know, what had taken so long. Usually he came directly home.
What time did he get home?
It was probably around 12:30, 1 o'clock.
And what time had he usually come home?
Around 11.
You didn't just ask him. Let's be honest.
Oh, I was a little angry, but at the same time, we had a pretty open relationship as far as he had his life, I had my life.
Okay, so you were angry?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
And he got very defensive immediately. And he was sitting on the couch, and we were actually arguing back and forth. And he stood up really fast and grabbed the coffee table and threw it end over end, and it shattered everywhere. It was a mirror coffee table. And just completely went on a rage from there. He grabbed the leg from the coffee table, threw it through the TV. I immediately ran to the bedroom and tried to shut the door. He was right behind me. He slammed the door open so hard that the hook on the back of the door actually went into the wall. That's when it started to get physical. There was a knife about this long that was hanging on the wall next to our bedroom door, and he was threatening to pop the waterbed. And I was screaming, I can't afford that kind of damage, you know that. And he started pointing the knife at me. He stabbed it through the bedroom door. It went through the door into the wall. He threw the knife at me. It landed right next to my head, and there was actually a perfect imprint of the knife in the wall. You could see the handle, the knife itself. He turned around and got very aggressive with me and put his hands around my neck. That's when I started kind of flailing, and I punched him in the side of the head. He carried me across the room by my neck, threw me through the door, and I landed on the linen closet, which was right outside of the bedroom wall. He put his fist through the wall. I ran into the kitchen. I picked up the phone. I dialed 911. He was right on top of me, grabbed the phone from me and hung it up and started screaming at me, "You're going to call the police. You're going to call the police on me. You know I have a warrant." Grabbed the phone from me, threw it on the ground. It shattered. He put his hand through the back screen wall, which is when he cut himself. Immediately started bleeding all over the place. I ran back into the bedroom trying to get away from him. He followed me in the bedroom. We went outside because my children were home. I had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old that were hiding in their bedroom. So I went outside, locked myself in the car, assuming that the police would be on their way because I dialed 911. He was in my face in the car. I ran back inside trying to lock him out, and he took off after that. Hid in the bushes for about 3 hours. They looked for him with K9 and took pictures of my house, and I actually have the police report.
I'd like to take a look at the police report and the photos if you have them.
I was not able to get the photographs from the police department, but I also have a copy of the security and cleaning and the damage deposit from my landlord. I've moved out of the house, and they had obviously tons of damage to fix the house. Here is a breakdown of what everything cost, not including what I fixed myself.
Go ahead.
I have a slightly different version, Your Honor.
So did she when the police came that night.
I came home that Tuesday night from pool league. It was a little bit later. I'd stayed and shot pool with my friends after league ended. Before I'd even made it to the door, she came out the door screaming at me, "Where you been?" Just going off on me. I came in for about 10 minutes of that screaming. As I was getting ready for bed, I called her an explicit name. "Look, you dumb, could I just please go to bed? I got to work in the morning." That's when I got punched in the head twice. And after that is when I started to tear the house up.
That's what she forgot to tell me. That's in the police report that she told the police that she hit you first.
That's when I started to.
Yeah, how come you forgot? You told me about all the things that happened, the coffee table and the glass and everything else. How come you left out the fact that after he called you a name, which was not a nice thing, you punched him in the forehead?
No, that's actually incorrect. I did punch him.
Behind the ear, Your Honor.
I did punch him. That was when he had his hands around my neck.
No.
When I
No.
Your Honor, when I pushed
No.
him, when I
That's
pushed
not
him
what you
on
told the
forehead,
police.
I pushed him on the forehead. There was actually a prior incident with another girlfriend, and he had called her the same name, and she had smacked him on the forehead with a frying pan for calling him that name.
Listen to me.
I did push him in the forehead. He was sitting on the couch. I forgot to. It was. I don't remember a lot of things from that night simply because...
Well, you remembered a lot of detail you told me before, but the one thing you didn't remember was that the first person to use any physical force was you.
Yeah, but...
The first person that put hands on was you.
It was...
And his reaction to putting hands on was to deal with furniture, not to deal with you. He threw over the furniture, he put his hand through a wall, he got angry.
He also...
Speak not.
Okay.
Go.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Just a minute, there's a fly in here. It's irritating me. If I had the proper equipment, I could have done it. Bird, don't be frightened.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Billy King says former live-in boyfriend Tim Palmer destroyed her apartment and then beat her up in a fit of rage. Tim says Billy started it by punching him in the forehead.
Okay, go ahead.
It escalated from there, and I did tear the house up a little bit. I've got a copy of the damages here. I highlighted the ones that I caused.
Okay, so did you pay for the ones that you caused?
No, I just replaced the TV of hers that I broke the very next day with the phone that I allegedly smashed on the ground.
Just a minute, you replaced the TV how, sir?
I took the broken one out and put one in there that worked.
Who has that TV now?
She does.
Is that right?
No.
Just a minute, there's a fly in here. It's irritating me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And then that was on November 21st. We stayed together for another month after that. I went to...
Just a minute. Don't get me off the track. This
I'm
fly
sorry.
isn't getting me off the track. I want to know where the TV is. He said he bought a new TV. I absolutely believe him that he replaced the TV.
He actually didn't buy a TV. His best friends were our neighbors, and they had a broken TV that they were keeping in the garage. Took 20 minutes for it to warm up, and they allowed me to borrow that TV. And when I offered to give it back, they told me to throw it away.
I gave him $50 and a $100 cordless phone for that TV. It was not broken.
You watched TV afterwards on a TV after this incident when you stayed together and tried to patch things up. Hold on a second.
Yes. Good job.
Go ahead. If I had the proper equipment, I could have done it.
For a month after that, we were together. I went to see my father over Christmas, and she had a problem with that. Cashed one of my unemployment checks while I was gone, signed my name to it, and cashed it at her place of business. Then New Year's Eve, she took off at 11:15, got back at 4 in the morning. I left when she got home because her
Sounds
kids
as if
were
it
there.
wasn't a marriage made in heaven. Listen to me. How much of the damage did you cause?
$135, Your Honor.
And how much are you being billed,
Oh, excuse me?
Miss King?
$2,100 and 20.
Let me see.
I'm also liable for half of the re-rent fee and advertising.
And how much is that?
That's $275 and $21 are the two totals on that.
I'd also like to point out that we were not working it out after that.
I don't care whether you were or you weren't. I want to see what the landlord lists as damage.
They're the same thing. Mine are just highlighted what I caused.
We'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. You fly.
Was also rent?
I moved out in January. She moved out in July.
Was your rent up to date at that time?
Yes, it was.
No,
that late
it was
charge
not.
was.
What about security deposit?
We split that.
I paid the $500 security deposit, which in turn takes care of the $725 that I owed in the back rent minus $200.
Why would you have paid all of the security deposit?
Because when we moved in together, he was not getting paid that much money. He pays an enormous amount of child support because he's about $20,000 behind.
Did you give her half of the security deposit?
Yes, I did. It was $250.
Who paid it? By check?
We paid cash to the landlord. And it had to go on one person's name, so we just used hers.
Your Honor, the reason that we paid cash was because at the time I was working at a pawn shop and I had a rather expensive ring. And I ended up getting rid of the ring so that
Listen.
we could afford the house.
Let me explain something to you. No court is going to waste their time going through this kind of minutiae with people who choose to live together and test the waters to see if the relationship is going to work. There are certain things that are reasonable. I'm not getting into the $5 here and $10 there and even $50 someplace else. Bird, don't be frightened.
All right.
Thank you, thank you. I hope that wasn't an endangered fly.
I doubt it.
Well, there are those things out here in California. Gotta be careful.
Your Honor,
In any event, there is certain damage that he caused. There's no question that there's certain damage that he caused. Late fees were, I mean, I don't know about this. Re-rent fee is $275. Advertising fee is $21. Certainly he lost his cool. Fair statement?
Fair statement, Your Honor.
Good. You lost your cool to the tune of $500. Now, what proof do you have that he actually put flour in the gas tank of your car? Which is the second part of your claim.
I have a couple of things actually to prove that. I have a receipt from the people who initially fixed my car. I had it towed on.
I have no doubt that somehow your car was vandalized. What proof do you have that the defendant did it?
The night that it happened, it was January 12th. We had separated in November, and I had a date that night with my witness. We had gone out. We came back to my house. We had been friends for quite a while, and so we came back to my house. The children were not there, and decided that he was going to stay at my house that night. You know, no big deal. Throughout the night, Mr. Palmer called a couple of times. I told him, you know, the same thing. I wasn't interested in seeing him or talking to him. He had already given me his house key. He did not have access to my house. He was not supposed to be there. He was actually waiting for me at the next door neighbor's house. He had explicit details of what we were doing in the living room because he was watching us through the window. When we decided that it was late enough and we were going to go to bed for the evening, he broke in through the front door, said, "Not in this house, not in this house," and walked right into the bedroom and left, went to his friend's house, called the police, and was going to immediately take back all the things that he said that he was going to give me because he didn't want them anymore. He was so broken up about our relationship that he didn't want his water back.
Okay, so let's get to the flour in the gas tank.
It was a locked garage. I had extra supplies in the garage. The following day, there was a bag. That's how I knew what it was. There was a bag of flour sitting in the middle of the garage. I actually had to break into the garage at a later date because he wouldn't give me the key. He's the only one that had the key to that garage. And the flour was rummaged out of the box.
You had the key to the garage. How are you going to get your car out?
I didn't leave my car in the garage. I just had belongings in my garage.
So where was the car?
Sitting right in my driveway, right next to the house.
Okay.
He knew,
So?
I mean, we'd been sitting on the couch talking and being intimate with each other for about 2 hours, and he knew things that we were talking about at the beginning
So what
of the
you're telling me,
evening.
because he was angry, you
Well-
assumed, because he was angry, you assumed that he vandalized your car.
It was the following morning that I got up to go to work. It lasted about 6 blocks. My car died. I had it towed, and there was...
So that's what you're telling me. You're telling me that because he was so angry, you assume that it was him.
Yeah, it would be pretty difficult or very coincidental that it would be somebody else.
I agree with you.
Tony saw him come in.
I agree with you.
He was the
I
one
agree
that
with-
called the police.
I agree with you. So far, you've been reasonably honest with me, Mr. Palmer. You've been reasonably honest with me about the damage that you caused. You've been reasonably honest with me about everything else, and you haven't been a loser. You haven't been a loser because I try to be reasonable. Did you put anything in the gas tank of the car?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Actually, Your Honor, I had a key to the front door because we were supposed to go out that night, and I knew something was up when she canceled with me. I came by the house about 1 o'clock in the morning. As I'm walking up to the door, the curtains are open.
What were you go? Shh,
I
Mr.
see
Palmer.
them
Mr.
on the
Palmer.
couch.
What'd you go there 1 o'clock in the morning for?
Because I knew she was fooling around on me, and that was my waterbed in the house. And when they were on the couch, I was all fine with it. That's how she wants to be. That's how she can be. But when they moved into my waterbed, that's my personal property, I wasn't going to have it. You need written consent to be in my waterbed, pretty much. So I let myself in the door and said, "Not in my waterbed." Everybody else, and the police came and stood by while I drained my waterbed, and I left the same time the police did that night. They stood by for 2 hours while I drained my waterbed and took it apart and moved it next door.
But
It wasn't happening in my bed.
Doesn't that sound like a big baby to you? You took police officers who should have been out on the street taking care of important business.
They actually commended me for keeping my head.
I'm speaking.
Sorry.
Making sure that people's homes are safe, that there aren't muggers in the street, that people aren't getting raped. and you had them stand there for 2 hours while you drained your waterbed so your former girlfriend wouldn't...
They stood by to make sure it didn't turn into a bloodbath, I think.
It shouldn't have turned into a bloodbath. You should have gone home, taken a cold shower, gotten into your bed, and said, listen, I got to deal with this like an adult. You went over there at 1 o'clock in the morning.
My name was on the lease. I had every right to be there.
Mr. Palmer, you're being a big baby. And the name you called her is not a nice name. And if you called your old girlfriend that name, it wasn't nice to call your old girlfriend that name. Did you get hit over the head by your old girlfriend?
That was a different name I called her. And I fully deserved that one.
Your Honor, one of the most important things...
Just a second. I want to see the information that you have from your mechanic.
These are... One of the receipts is missing, so I had to make a statement about some of the things that he had done for me. There were towing fees. There's...
Just a second.
And that car has a locking gas cover.
Not anymore. The gentleman that worked on my car fixed it the first time. It was running fine. Then it broke down.
Listen to me. You can't testify for somebody else, and neither can the person who fixed this car.
Right, that's why I had to make that statement. But he had told me it had to have happened on 2 separate occasions. There was no way after he drained and cleaned the tank the first time that the car could have done what it did again unless somebody had put flour in the tank again.
Probably right, but that's not evidence that I can hear.
Okay.
From you. Okay. He owes you $500 that he's going to pay you back for damaging the apartment and also the advertising fee. He lost his temper. You hit him first.
Your Honor, I did not hit him.
I don't care whether you went like this, because I don't believe you went like this to his forehead. I want you to understand that. Just because you look like a very sweet gal, I don't believe that when he came home, you said to him, honey, you usually don't come home this late. You're an hour and a half late. Where were you?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You were screaming and you were yelling and he called you a foul name. You came back into the room and you gave him a clap in the forehead, right? And as a result of giving him a clap in the head, he got mad and he tore up the place instead of tearing your head off.
While my children were there.
Well, you chose to hit him when your children were there, madam. Don't you think that your children heard it when you were screaming at him, where have you been so late?
I was not screaming at him.
Please. Grow up. I'm not stupid.
I wasn't even able to press assault charges.
Listen to me very carefully, madam.
He ruined my couch, my TV.
I don't care. He didn't ruin your head. You hit him close. You struck him first. He reacted by damaging your property. That was bad temper. The fact that he's got a foul mouth is also not a good thing. You say, with my children there? With your children there, you started it with him. He reacted badly. He's got a bad temper, but you started it. You started the screaming. He didn't. And if you didn't like the fact that he was out until 12:30 in the morning, you should have scooped up your children and left. Do you understand? I'm not interested in the hearing.
But my older...
Goodbye!
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy saw through her little act.
The emotional stress that I've been through in the last year has been... I mean, you can't put a price on it.
Truth came out, I guess.
I've never had anybody put their hands on me like he did that night.
Oh, I know I lost my temper.
He had his hands around my neck, and I was trying to protect myself.
It's been 9 months since I've had any contact with her at all. I wish you'd just leave it alone.
Don't move in with someone until you are married.
Be careful.
Or you've spent a lot of time with them.
Vindictive woman.
And don't be fooled by someone just because they have a smile and can be nice to you.
Leave me alone.
Antique store owner Rebecca Watson is suing her ex-lover, truck driver Larry Martinez, for unpaid loans and for money invested in his business.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 372 on the calendar, the matter of Watson versus Martinez. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Watson, you claim a loan to the defendant in the amount of $1,400 for a couple of things. To bring his daughter for a visit and then to help pay his mortgage. In addition to that, you claim that he defrauded you out of $500, some sort of an investment. You want that money back. You want a total of $1,900. Yes. Mr. Martinez says that he did, in fact, take some money from you, but that money was a gift, that you insisted upon giving it to him because he had fallen on some difficult financial times, and that the $500 investment that you made in his business was just that, an investment that didn't work out, and you lost your money. How do you know him?
We met at a charity ball, and I met him during a function.
When?
I believe December of 2000.
When did you first give him money?
July of 2001.
What kind of relationship did you have with him between December of 2000 and July of 2001?
We were involved very closely in that we were friends and intimately associated.
You considered yourself his female friend?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now tell me about the first loan.
The largest loan was $1,000 because he was behind on a mortgage payment.
Tell me about it.
Well, I just felt sorry for him and went ahead and told him that he begged me for the money, and I told him...
Tell me. Let's start from the beginning. He came to you, you were out for dinner, you were at someplace, he said to you, I'm behind in my mortgage. I want to know exactly how it came about.
No, he had been telling me along that he had had some money problems, and his girlfriend wasn't able to help him with his money problems, and that she was taking a lot of money.
So he had a girlfriend?
Yes, he has a girlfriend.
Well, what was he doing with you if he had a girlfriend?
Well, we were just really more friends than anything else, and I would give him a lot of advice, and our relationship was in that he's a truck driver. We'd talk over the phone a lot, and it was over the phone that he told me that really where he needed the money. So it wasn't over dinner or anything. But
go ahead.
And so I did have the money wired or electronically transferred.
No, I want you to tell me about it.
Oh, about our relationship?
No, about the $1,000, madam.
The $1,000, I did go ahead and have it wired.
I believe that you gave him $1,000. I want to know the circumstances surrounding you giving him the $1,000.
Well, I loaned him the $1,000.
That's what you say?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, since I'm not getting it from you, I'm going to go to Mr. Martinez. Mr. Martinez, she gave you $1,000. Tell me how that came about, sir.
She wired it to my account. She took $1,000, gave it to me. I told her I needed some help with the bills, and
You told her you needed help with the bills, and...
I said I'm behind. She was away. I was by myself. So I needed some money. Didn't have no help. She offered to help.
What did she say?
She says if you need
look at me.
If you need some money, I have money, and if you need to borrow some or whatever, it's here for you if you need it.
Good. And you said I need to borrow it.
I need about $1,000 to pay my bills.
So she sent you the money. So why didn't you pay it? Look here.
At that time, I didn't have any money. It went
That
on.
doesn't mean that it's not a loan, sir. That means that you didn't have the money then to pay her back.
Didn't have the money to pay her back and couldn't pay her back.
That doesn't mean it wasn't a loan.
Well, if it was a loan, I would have had to sign some kind of receipt or some kind of paperwork saying that, hey, you know...
You just told me you borrowed the money from her. You used that word. I asked her if I could borrow some money from her.
Okay. Maybe I should have used a different word then.
That's not... Maybe you should have, but that's the word that you used.
Okay. I took the $1,000 from
You
her.
borrowed it.
Okay.
And you didn't have money to pay her back. That doesn't mean you don't owe it to her. What's next?
Well, Your Honor, the reason...
Shh, I didn't ask you. I said, what's next? $1,000 I have. Hello?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I thought you... I think the reason he didn't have the $1,000...
I don't care what the reason is.
Yes,
why he didn't have the $1,000. He owes you so far $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
What's
what
next?
What else? Well, there was $500 for the investment.
I don't care about the investment. You were dumb enough to give him $500 for an investment. That's your problem. Let's go to the next thing.
I think he didn't have the money because Michelle wasn't there to give it to him. Okay.
Michelle, are you finished with it? Are you finished with $1,000?
Yes,
is that all he owes you, $1,000?
No, ma'am.
Then I want you to get to it. I didn't ask you anything else.
All right. There's the $500 in the e-toys.
Just a second. Miss Watson.
Yes?
You're not paying attention to me.
I'm sorry.
I told you, if you were dumb enough to give him invest in a business for $500 with him, and he didn't have enough money to pay his own rent, you don't get that money back.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't. Good. Now, so far, he has admitted, reluctantly, to owing you $1,000. Does he owe you any more money?
Yes, ma'am, he does. But he is such
You want to get to it!
Yes, ma'am.
What is it? What was it for? When did you give it to him?
He's such a scoundrel that...
That's it. I'm finished with you, Miss Watson. I'm finished with you. I asked you a simple question. The simple question is, we got to the $1,000. He owes you the $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
He doesn't owe you $500 that you invested with him. Is there any other money that he owes you? What you have to say is yes, how much it was, what you gave it to him for. If you're not going to answer that question directly, Miss Watson, I'm going to give you an award of $1,000 and say goodbye. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do. He does owe me another $900.
No, he doesn't. You want to tell me what the $900 is for?
I do have documentation on monies that were given to him when he did ask me for a loan, and I do have FYI when I did fax him the information. And
Miss Watson, is there something wrong with you?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You invested in a bad deal, period. End of discussion. That leaves $400 left, not $900. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And later today,
I don't remember getting hit. I got hit 3 times, actually.
Started drinking some liquor. Then Nita started wilding.
She started what?
Wilding.
What is that?
Acting crazy.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Rebecca Watson says former lover Larry Martinez owes for a series of loans and for an investment she made in his business.
Your lawsuit is for $1,900.
Yes, ma'am.
$1,000 loan. Something for a plane ticket or something to bring his daughter out.
That's
and then
correct.
Quiet! And then $500 that you say you invested with him. I've already told you I'm discounting the $500. He does not owe you the $500. You invested in a bad deal, period. End of discussion. That leaves $400 left, not $900. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what was the other $400 for?
The other $400 was in petty cash and plane ticket that he needed to
I'm not interested in petty cash.
get his daughter
I'm
back
not
to
interested
New
in
York.
petty cash. What was the plane ticket?
The plane ticket was about $300.
What do you mean about $300?
It was $300 because I gave him
Show me.
$100 for being
Show
able
me.
to get in the airport.
Show me the $300 plane ticket. Show me where it was. Where did you buy the $300 plane ticket?
No, I gave him the money as a loan because he needed to get his daughter from New York.
How much was
Or
the
to New
plane
York.
ticket to get your daughter from New York to wherever?
About $250. That has nothing to do with the money that she gave me. Was $1,000 towards my bills. That money came out of my pocket for the plane ticket.
So she didn't give you $250. You have any evidence that you put that plane ticket on your credit card?
No, ma'am.
Good. So you got $1,000, Miss Watson. That's it, period. That's what you say you owe her? That's what you borrowed. Is that right? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
There were, times that she was in jail and she was gone and not able to be with him. I didn't know all this at the time. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend.
Well, I was away. The cat played.
Larry is a real scoundrel, and he's got a woman at every port.
I thought she was my friend, and she was cheating on me. Both of them.
You learn from your mistakes. I'm not going to be doing that anymore.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hollis versus Kirkland. Step forward, please.
Inventory control clerk Lori Hollis is suing her former live-in boyfriend, salesman Alex Kirkland, for unpaid rent and bills. Alex says this is revenge for their breakup.
Miss Hollis, according to your complaint, a couple of years ago, the defendant lived with you. I assume you were in some sort of a relationship when he came to live with you. You say that he owes you money for rent and other bills. Mr. Kirkland says he doesn't owe you a thing, that you never had an agreement with regard to rent, and when he was working, he gave you money. Is that right, sir?
That's correct.
Okay. When did you move in together, or he moved in with you?
June 10th, 2001.
And how long did you know him before he moved in with you?
From October 1999 for a little over a year and a half.
Why did he move in with you?
He had gotten into a situation where he needed a place to live. And
I don't know what that means.
He had broken up with his girlfriend at the time, and he needed a place to live. He was moving out of his place. And so I offered to let him stay with me.
So he wasn't your boyfriend at the time, he was
No.
just a friend?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
And we had an agreement that he was supposed to pay me $450 a month, plus, half of the living expenses, utilities. And about 10 days, I think it was like the 25th of June, he had lost his job. And he lost his job under circumstances which prevented him from being able to collect unemployment. I was a friend of his, and I had faith that he would get a job soon and, and be able to adhere to our agreement. But he stayed unemployed all the way through March 2002.
That's your problem. That's your problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Soon after he did get a job, he picked up and left.
He's consistent.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lori Hollis says ex-boyfriend Alex Kirkland owes for rent and bills. Alex says Lori is a vengeful woman.
Let me tell you what you just told me. You just told me that he broke up with his girlfriend and he had to move out of her apartment. Right? Mm-hmm. I assume it was her apartment because she wasn't leaving. He was being forced out. Is that right? That's why he came to live with you.
Well, I don't know the circumstances of their relationship. So,
well, certainly he needed the place to live. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Then, as soon as he got to your house, he lost his job. And when you say he lost a job under circumstances under which he could not collect unemployment, which means he didn't leave voluntarily. He left because he got caught doing something wrong. Well, if you get caught doing something wrong, then maybe you can't collect unemployment. Because if you get fired, and if you've had a work history, then you can collect unemployment. So now you have faith in him that he's going to get a job, but he doesn't get a job. So you can, if he's just your friend, you say to him, toodaloo. Well, but you decided not to. So why are you here a year and a half later looking for rent?
Well, all the time that he was staying with me, well, in September of 2001, he decided, he instigated a conversation with me to take our relationship further, because we had been friends for a real long time. We cared about each other, and I loved him. So
that's why you let him stay.
I let him stay.
That's why you let him stay.
And he continually told me that, you know, don't worry, you'll get a job and he'll pay me what he owes me, and so on. But soon after he did get a job, he picked up and left. And
he's consistent. He's consistent. So what are you complaining about?
Well, the fact that
you cared for him, he evidently was not committed.
I do have a signed rental agreement by him, though.
Let me see it. When did you have him sign a rental agreement?
Well, I tried to get him to sign it soon after he had moved in. He kind of avoided it for a little while, and he ended up signing it because it was the truth, and that he was going to use it as so in a child support hearing to prevent his child support from being raised.
Were you involved in the child support dispute, sir?
Yes.
Is that why you signed this agreement?
That is why I signed that agreement.
So, according to this, you owe her for a year's rent.
According to that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
And?
I didn't really remember signing that agreement. And once she brings it, now that she brings it up, the reason that I signed it was to take into court to show that I was living at a place and everything was on the up and up, and for them not to raise the child support, which they did anyway. It had really nothing to do with rent. She agreed to help me, knowing the situation that I was in. I did pay her. I signed my complete checks over to her once I started working, and I didn't move out right after I got a job.
When you say you signed your complete checks over to her, how often did he do that? How many times did he sign his complete checks over to you?
He did the first check he got in April. He did, because we were kind of in the rears at rent at the time.
So how much was that?
I don't know how much.
How much was that? Do you remember?
I believe it was around $500 from what I had left from the child support.
Mm-hmm.
And he moved out in July 15th.
Okay. Mr. Kirkland, what you're suggesting is that you took this piece of paper. You were sworn to tell the truth?
That's correct.
And the judge asked you what your expenses were?
Yes, he did. I told him that I wasn't working, and those are expenses that were against me.
You gave this to the judge when you were under oath and said, these are my expenses.
Yes.
My rent is $450 a month.
That's correct.
I need this for transportation. I need this for clothing. Is that right?
That's correct.
So now you're coming into this court, and you're telling me in this court that this was merely meant to fool the judge in the child support proceeding.
That's not correct.
Of course that's correct. That you furnished this document to the judge in the child support hearing in the hopes that they would not raise your child support, but that this agreement was false. You were not supposed to pay $450 a month rent. So you furnished this to the judge in that hearing in order to fool that judge. Your fair statement?
I guess that would be a fair statement.
A judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He Said that he was going to pay me $200 a month.
It had just gotten sour because it just wasn't working out between us.
When I tried to get it, I would get emails saying that he can't pay me right now and stuff.
All this came up after we stopped seeing each other and things started to get a little bitter.
I just got to a point where, you know, I believed that he just didn't intend to pay me at all.
It wasn't anything bad that she did. It just wasn't right for us.
Some of the emails that he sent me weren't all that nice.
A lot of it was revenge.
To leave him alone and that he'll pay me when he pretty much wins the lottery.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Little versus Whitlock Whitehead. Step forward, please.
19-year-old student Crystal Biddle and her mother Gail are suing schoolteacher Darlene Whitlock and her brother, 25-year-old student Dale Whitehead, for the value of a totaled car.
What's your first name?
Crystal.
Crystal. Is this your mom?
Yes.
And yours?
Darlene?
I'm Dale.
According to your complaint, you had cars in school. You were in school and you were in school. Is that right?
Correct.
And you had one car, you had another car, your cars were parked next to each other in a parking lot. Is that right?
Yes.
Your car, without any indication of any fault on your part, you weren't even there, caught fire and was destroyed.
Correct.
Your car was next to his car and was also destroyed.
Yes.
You want them, you're the owner of the car,
Yes, ma'am.
to pay the cost of a new car or a replacement car.
Yes.
Tell me why.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Go ahead.
Well, I should not be tormented for somebody's car who had electrical problems shoot into my car and start on fire. It's not fair.
How
to
do we
me.
know that the car had electrical problems?
In the report it says.
Can I see the
yes.
report, please? Let's see what it says. So there are several cars involved in this, and it's clear that, according to the fire report, it says the Ford van was the vehicle that the fire started in the electrical wiring.
Yes.
So why don't you sue Ford? What are you suing him for?
He's the one who owned the car.
Would it be my
Shut,
fault?
shut, shut. Why didn't you have insurance on your car?
I had liability insurance.
Yeah, but you don't have collision, you don't have damage.
That's just.
This is, look, I'm trying to think of an example to give you that would probably make it more palatable to you. When there is a fault, you target the person who's at fault, person or entity that's at fault, if they cause you injury or damage, right?
Yes.
He was not at fault. He didn't create this car. There is no indication that he was aware or the owner of the car was aware that there were electrical problems with the car. So certainly they're not at fault. Now, are they absolutely liable for anything that happens as a result of their car? No. Not at all. What happens if they're driving along the street and a boulder hits their car and their car swerves and hits into your car? Certainly not their fault, because they didn't do anything that was negligent. So what you have to do is you have to have collision if you want to be fully protected, or else go after the people who made the car. If there was faulty electrical wiring, isn't that what you were told?
No.
Well, what were you told?
We were just told to file a claim against the owner and the driver of the vehicle.
For what?
Well, the vehicle was smashed in the front end of the vehicle, and the insurance company that he had didn't even send anyone out to look at their car to see if there was any evidence of any
This
problem.
is the fire department report. Fire department report says that it was an electrical fire.
Right. Well, what we were saying is that we believe that there probably were problems with the van that they were aware of.
Show me. Just a minute. Then if what you're saying to me, Ms. Biddle, is accurate, that they had knowledge that there was something wrong with their car, and yet drove it, and thereby placed other cars at risk, then they would be responsible. I agree with you. Show me, give me proof, that they knew or should have known that there was something wrong with their car that could cause a fire, and then you get whatever you want. Do you have any proof?
If anybody would have walked past that van, anybody would have known that there was problems with that van. It was rusted up, it was very old, and it didn't like it was taken care of very well.
That doesn't mean, listen to me, Miss Biddle, that means that the car will one day be driving along the road and stop running. That doesn't mean that it's going to explode in a fire. Miss Biddle, you need proof, expert proof, that, for instance, the car was in an accident. They were advised by a mechanic that unless it was fixed, the car could, by spontaneous combustion, start on fire. Because otherwise, there are lots of scenarios that are possible. It's also possible that somebody lit a match, opened the hood, threw it in the car, and caught on an electrical wire, and that's what they saw. They saw the electrical wires burned, that somebody else did that. Do you think that they would be responsible if somebody passed their car and, as a prank, took a match and threw it in the gas tank and the car exploded and your car was damaged? Do you think they'd be responsible?
No.
Why? Just a minute. Why not?
Well, I mean, it was somebody else could have, done it just to get him in trouble, but...
Someone else could have done something to destroy his car. It's not different. It's not different. You have to show a fault, that somehow these people knew that they were driving around in a dangerous vehicle that could cause damage to somebody else's property. And you don't have that proof, so you have no case. So next time you want to be fully protected, get collision. Case dismissed, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think that everybody has a choice to carry liability or comprehensive insurance.
I don't think it was the right decision.
We had had the van for quite some time and we had never had any problems like this before.
I don't feel that I should have to pay for somebody else's problems.
You never really know what can happen.
I was in class and somebody came, the president of SCC came out and told me that somebody had caught my car on fire.
My brother came home and he said to me that there had been a vehicle fire.
I saw smoke coming out of the rear end of my car.
And I went out and looked at the college and I was absolutely amazed.
The tires were exploded.
The front end of my car was melted. The bumper was just about gone.
The windows were exploded.
There was no dashboard. Everything was black from the first part over.
There was basically no back end of my car left.
It was just absolutely amazing to me that a fire could cause that type of damage.
I say I didn't cause it. It was an act of God.
Homemaker Phyllis Sullivan is suing her son-in-law, body shop manager Chip Sims, for illegally repossessing her car. Chip says she wrecked the car twice.
Order. All rise. Now, this is case number 440 on the calendar in the matter of Sullivan versus Sims. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Sullivan, I assume this is your daughter, is that right? And this is your son-in-law?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
According to your complaint, your daughter and son-in-law purchased a car that was for your benefit.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in March of last year.
Correct.
And the agreement was that you would make a monthly payment that would cover the car payment and insurance.
Correct.
To your daughter and son-in-law.
Correct.
And you would have the car, and when the car was paid off, I assume it would be yours. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So far correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You did have the car for a period of time. Then you had an accident with the car in a parking lot. And you called your son-in-law.
Yes.
According to you, you put a note on the car.
Yes.
Did you put the note on the other car, or did your son-in-law?
I put it on the car that I hit, right next to me.
On the note was?
My name, phone number, and that I worked next door at Randall's, and the phone number.
You believe he took the note off the car you hit?
Yes.
Because they never contacted you.
Correct.
And there was damage to that car.
Yes.
You didn't do that, did you, Mr. Sims?
No, ma'am.
And shortly thereafter, Mr. Sims repossessed the car and sold it. You are suing, according to your complaint, for the whole value of the car.
Correct.
Which you're not entitled to. So let's be realistic. Let's say you're suing for the payments that you made on the car. April, May, June, July, and August, if you made the 5 months worth of payments.
Mm-hmm. And I did not miss a payment.
Okay.
I was told...
And that's your statement. I did not miss a payment. And that was our agreement, and he had no right to take the car back, and therefore I want the payments. How much were your payments each month?
Well, he told me $200 when we signed the original agreement. $200 a month. That included insurance.
How much was the insurance on the car, Mr. Sims?
$62.96.
Mr. Sims, how much did you pay for the car?
I purchased the car for $1,500. I put $600 of the repairs to the car because I purchased it damaged.
Okay, and you sold it when?
About 2 weeks ago.
And how much did you sell it for?
$3,200.
And how much did you pay to fix it as a result of the accident that your mother-in-law had?
What she did, she bent the door around to the fender.
Just tell me how much you paid to fix it.
$150, but it didn't fix it correctly. It just made the door open and close. It did not repair the car back to the original condition.
Say nothing. Yet. Say nothing yet.
All right.
So let's say you spent $2,200 on the car.
Correct.
You sold it for $3,200, giving you $1,000 profit. And your mother-in-law gave you $137 a month times 5 equals $685.35. So you got that too.
Correct.
So this is going to take care of your counterclaim, because you're suing her for $660 for miscellaneous damages incurred in relation to the car. That's your counterclaim. That's out, because you had no loss, sir. You have a profit.
All right, I understand.
You have a profit. So you suffered no damage. So your counterclaim is dismissed. Now let's talk about what your mother-in-law wants.
Okay, I need to speak.
Now I'm ready.
He works at a body shop. He didn't pay nothing to have that car fixed.
I don't care whether he did or whether he didn't.
And he raised the payments.
That has nothing to do with you.
He raised my payments from
To what?
$200 to $230 a month.
When did he
Before
change?
I made the first payment, I'm sorry.
Just a second.
April.
Okay,
April
230.
11th. He raised it.
Is that right, sir?
Well,
is that right or wrong? She has proof. I'm sure she has checks or whatever. Is that
yeah,
correct?
we agreed on the raise of the payment. It was due to the insurance increase.
So we have 230 less 62.96, 167.04 times 5, $835.20. I'm going to give you 1 minute, Mr. Sims, to explain to me why you don't think that you owe your mother-in-law $835.20.
We had an agreement that she was going to purchase the car, like you said. But also in that agreement, no one was supposed to drive the car. Well, she was letting the other brother-in-law drive the car, which I had a witness see him in the car. Also, she took the car to Chicago against my wishes, taking it out of town. Our original agreement was that the car was mine. I purchased the car, put it in my name, I put the insurance in my name, I registered it in my name, and I told her, here's the car, this is what we're going to do. You pay the car to me each month, and then when the 13 months are over, I'll sign it over to you, do whatever you like. But in the time that you're driving the vehicle, the liability is on me with my insurance and everything covering me. I don't want anyone driving it. Drive it, do your errands, run back and forth to work. But I don't want the car leaving the state. I don't want the car going anywhere. Just keep it here in town.
Now, Mrs. Sims, I read that. I read your defense, sir. However, your problem is you didn't take it back from her then.
Okay, you're right.
You took it back from her when she had an accident in the parking lot.
I didn't take it back from her. What she did, she was letting people drive the car. Then when she damaged the car, then when she damaged the vehicle, she brought the car to me and handed me the keys and wanted me to fix the vehicle. The daughter-in-law got upset with me and mad because I wouldn't file an insurance claim against my own policy to make me pay the increase over the next 3 years. And so they started feuding all over again. That's when I talked with her and I asked her, hey, we need to do something different here. Can you go get a loan for the balance due on the car? I can sign the car to you and we can quit all this fighting and carrying on and be done with it. You can do what you like. She agreed to go get her own loan.
Stop playing with the papers.
Sorry.
She went out, tried 2 or 3 different banks. No one would loan her the money because of her past history and her credit. It's so horrible she couldn't get it. So then she comes to me and says, you know what, I'm going to save the money for 6 weeks. Can you hold the car 6 weeks and I'll pay in full? 4 weeks go by. She calls my wife and says, I got $20 to my name. I can't pay it. I said, okay, what are we going to do now? She said, well, I'm just going to take you to court and sue you for my interest. I said, well, how about I give you all your money back? I offered to give her every penny she paid, including the insurance. She agreed to that too. Then on Sunday morning she calls and tells me no, she don't want to do that either.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't know whether or not you took off the note, if there was a note placed on the other car in the parking lot. If you did, that was a foul thing to do.
And later today,
The vet told us there was no way the cat could have broken its leg in 5 places just from tossing off the side. She had to have been pretty much slammed to the ground to have broken it the way it did.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Phyllis Sullivan says son-in-law Chip Sims repossessed her car for absolutely no reason. Chip says Phyllis has been irresponsible with the vehicle.
What you should have done, Miss Sullivan, is take him up on his offer. Because if he was willing to give you all the money that you paid in the car, including the insurance, you should have accepted it. Because from me, you're only going to get the money that you paid on the car itself, less the insurance.
Your Honor.
Yeah, what?
The car, I mean, this was a business contract. I couldn't get a loan because I filed bankruptcy.
Show me the business contract.
All right?
Show me the contract. Show me what it says. Show me
Can
the
I say
contract.
something?
Nobody drove that car. His so-called character witness has a warrant for his arrest for hitting a
Would
police
you
officer.
please stop talking and hand me the contract?
I'm sorry.
You don't have one.
There's the contract. This is my thing from bankruptcy. And
No, listen to me. I asked you for the contract.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Did you ever have a conversation with your mother about somebody else driving the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up. Tell me when.
Less than a month into the deal with the car.
Tell
about
me what
2
the
weeks into
conversation
it.
was.
I called her to let her know that we had spoken to a fellow family member who saw someone else driving the car. When I asked her about it, she proceeded to cry and say, I would never do something like that. You told me you didn't want anyone driving the car. I wouldn't do that. I would never hurt you or Chip like that. That's our agreement. I wouldn't let someone drive the car.
Okay. I have to make a determination as to what your damages are, Miss Sullivan.
Okay.
And by the way, Mr. Sims, I don't know whether or not you took off the note, if there was a note placed on the other car in the parking lot. If you did, that was a foul thing to do. Otherwise, I cannot understand why somebody would not have contacted you to have their car fixed. It's not reasonable that if you come out and you see somebody left their name and number and said, I hit your car,
Right.
that they would not contact that person unless the note was taken off the car. In any event, I believe that you're entitled to, based upon this agreement, you're entitled to your money back, because this agreement says that if at any time I default upon my payments, Ronald has the right to take the car back, and I will forfeit any payments already made. She never defaulted on her payments, so you had no right to take her car back.
I didn't take the car back. She brought the car to me.
I don't believe that's true. And I believe that you made a profit. That's just shit, quiet. I believe that you made a profit on the car. You don't have to make a really handsome profit. So instead of making $1,838, you're only going to make $1,000 worth of profit.
$1,800 because she'd already filed this suit once, which I had to hire an attorney to fight her the first time, that she never showed up to court. I had
Well,
to
I don't
fight
have that. Listen to me, Mr. Sims. Mr. Sims.
I've got the original court
I don't
and
have
dismissal
listen to-
from it.
Pay careful attention to me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have that as part of a counterclaim.
Right.
In any event, what I'm telling you is you have the right, if you sold the car, you made a profit. Your profit was in excess of $1,000.
Well, I kept the car for 5 months waiting to solve this case, waiting to go to court, which we had our court date. She didn't appear.
What difference does it make, sir? What difference does it make as far as the profit that you made?
Right, exactly.
She put in $835.20. That's less the insurance over a 5-month period, and she's entitled to get it back under your contract. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I just want them out of my life. I just want to go on about my own life and let her live her life, let me live mine.
He couldn't claim it on his insurance because he's got too many other insurance claims going on.
This isn't the first time in my life my mother's disappointed me.
My son-in-law, Chip, told me that I'm putting the stake in the family.
We warned her before she filed this suit to let her know she would never see me and she would never see her grandson again. She continued to do it, and I'm going to stand by my word.
I'm very hurt. I'm going to miss my daughter and my grandson.
21-year-old assembly operator Monique Betker is suing the father of her son, 26-year-old machine technician Robbie Schwant, for the return of her furniture and for breaking her nose. Robbie is countersuing for car rims he inherited from his deceased brother.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 206 on the calendar in the matter of Betker versus Swant. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Miss Betker, you and the defendant lived together for a couple of years, well over a year ago.
Yes.
And you have a child together. How old is the child?
Almost 2.
And it is your claim that the defendant owes you for furniture that he has that you believe was either yours or at least both of yours, and for an assault that you say he perpetrated upon you, causing you to have a broken nose and substantial medical bills. Mr. Schwant says that the furniture was his, and he says that you started the fight that resulted in whatever injury you had. As a matter of fact, the charges in that case, he says, were dismissed because you acknowledged to the court that you hit him first, and he is counterclaiming for something about his deceased brother's car rims, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, tell me about this separation in August of 2001.
He got possessive. I switched shifts to second shift, different plant. He accused me of cheating on him. I went out one evening after work with a couple of friends, and
I come home the next day because I was too drunk to drive, and the door locks were changed.
Where was your child at the time?
My mother.
Is that when this incident happened that caused you to have a broken nose?
Yes, because I went the next day to receive my belongings, and we started arguing. He kept following me around the apartment. I noticed most of my stuff was broken.
So what happened?
I started packing up my clothes, and he was yelling at me, calling me obscene names, and he called me a word I didn't really like, and I threw a burp rag at him, and he come at me with a
threw a
fist.
what?
A burp rag.
Yeah.
And then he punched me in my nose.
Your Honor, that's...
I'll let you tell the story.
Yes, sir.
And what happened next?
I called the cops. I have a copy of the police report.
Okay. I'd like to take a look at it. Now, can you explain to me why you waited a year? Forget the incident involving your broken nose for a second, or this has bloody nose. You'll show me the bills later. Because I assume you went through a criminal proceeding?
I never actually went to court, Your Honor.
Really?
While I was in jail, the judge had reviewed the case and dropped all charges against me.
Do you have a report on that? Do you have any paperwork on that? How long were you incarcerated?
For 2.5 days.
Okay. What furniture do you claim that he has that belongs to you?
My living room set, my bedroom set, and other small belongings, which
All
I
right,
have
let's
a
start
list.
with living room set and bedroom set. Who bought it?
My mom bought the living room set. I bought the bedroom set.
Is that right?
The living room set, her mother give both of us
Yeah.
while we were together.
Okay.
The bedroom set she did have before we even got together.
So why didn't you give them back to her?
She took my son, and then over the next 2 months I wasn't able to see my son, so I had no contact with her whatsoever. And then later when I moved out, then she had more than ample time to come get her stuff. I had talked to her, so I ended up putting her stuff in storage at my own expense because I didn't have the heart to just leave it in the apartment and let it be taken.
So where is it now?
They're at my apartment.
Okay. She wants them back.
Well, the problem with that is I was given joint custody for my son.
I don't care. I don't care. The living room set and the bedroom set she wants back. Get it back to her.
Your Honor, she owes me several $1,000s.
For what?
For the tires and rims, for...
Just a minute. We're going to get to your complaint. I'm talking about things, not money. She has to get back the living room set and her bedroom set. They're hers. What else?
There's a list of Beanie Babies, some clothes. I've tried numerous of times to get my stuff back, and he come get it. Oh, don't come get it. Come get it.
Do you
don't
have
get
her
it.
stuff? Someplace?
I have some of it at my apartment, some of it at my parents' house, and a lot of it I've given back to her already.
Okay. Whatever you have a child together?
Yes.
Do you share custody? I assume
Yes.
now at this point you share custody. So it's a very good idea to maintain nice relations with her.
I've been
Pleasant.
trying, Your Honor.
Very good. So pack up all the stuff in boxes. Tell her where she should go to pick them up. Do you live close to your parents?
No.
No. Your Honor, she's
What?
had more than enough ample time over the last year. I've told her several times
Listen!
to come get the stuff.
But what are you doing with it?
A lot of it was sitting in storage for 5 months.
Fine,
while
but
she
now
had
it's still
chance to-
there. Mr. Schwantz, I don't understand you, sir. Now it's there. You said you have some of it at your house, you have some of it at
Correct.
your parents' house, right?
Yes.
Get it together and give it back to her. Are you telling me that it's being used?
Yes, it's being used in my home, which I'm providing for my son when I have him half the time.
Mr. Schwantz, I want you to understand my words. The bedroom set and the living room set are going back to the plaintiff.
Yes, Your
Do
Honor.
you understand? That is the order.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. As far as the other things are concerned, physical things, put them in boxes, and she's going to pick them up. And I'm going to suggest, Mr. Schwantz, that if you don't want to be an immature baby, you put them in boxes, wrap them up nicely, store them nicely, so that you don't have any quarrel with her. Because you have a child who's 2 years old, and for the next 16 years, you're going to have to get along with each other. So don't make a mountain out of a Beanie Baby. Do we understand each other?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Then don't speak anymore. Now, you want to tell me? He says that it wasn't just a throwing of a rag in his face, that you slapped him first. Is that true?
That's false.
Want to tell me what happened?
We had gotten into an argument.
That I know.
Okay. The argument got heated. I called her, and she turned around. She had a rag in her hand and hit me with her hand. And after
The rag in it.
Yes, with the rag. She was holding it in her hand. She hauled off and slapped me across the face.
Slapped you. And what did you do to her?
I turned around and I slapped her back.
Slapped her or punched her?
Slapped.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Her mother gave you the living room set.
Gave to both of us, Your Honor.
Didn't make any difference who you were. If she had chosen Bird, she would have still given her a living room set.
And later today,
She said, purchase me 2 tickets, so I did.
For Britney Spears concert.
He didn't tell me it was in Indianapolis until he wanted me to pay for them.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Monique Betker says the father of her son, Robbie Schwant, assaulted her, breaking her nose. Robbie says Monique hit him first.
Well, couldn't your slap have caused her a broken nose?
Possibly.
Okay.
I'd never seen any reports of anything,
Well,
no
let me
doctor
see.
bills.
Let me see. Where does it say you had a broken nose?
They couldn't find that paper, but it does say that I
It
had a
doesn't
fractured
say. It
nose.
says nose possible fracture. It says headaches, whatever, and it says nose injury, possible fracture. And you declined x-rays, is that right?
I did a couple weeks after that.
Yeah, the results of those x-rays.
don't.
Well, then I can't help you. If you slapped him, he slapped you back, unless I have proof that he overreacted. Reports don't indicate that you had any more than a bloody nose. Okay, 5 days. You got the order. Now let's get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is something about your deceased brother's rims. I'm ready to hear you, Mr. Schwant.
Before my son was born, while she was still pregnant with my son, we purchased together, but in her name, a 97 Ford F-150. My brother, who was deceased now, had some tires and rims that were on his truck that was similar, only a year newer. The truck was going to be repossessed by the bank. The bank wouldn't let us take over the payments on it, so we had these rims that we had nothing to do with. So we put them on the F-150 that me and her had got, with the understanding that if anything happened between us, the rims were to be returned.
Go ahead.
Okay? When she left, she took the truck with her, and I asked for the rims back, and she refused to give them back.
Yes.
And she still refused to give them back up until the time the vehicle was repossessed.
And?
And...
So?
Well, they belonged to me. They were one of the last things that I have of my brother, who died 2 years ago.
You mean it's like a class ring? His rims for his car is like a class ring?
No, but it's a remembrance of my brother, who's deceased now.
That's what I didn't get from your counterclaim, sir, that the rims had sentimental value to you.
Yes, they did, Your Honor.
Mr. Schwant, if you were old enough to make a child, you're supposed to be mature enough to make reasonable judgments. To even come into a courtroom and suggest that tire rims are a sort of sentimental symbol of your brother that she took away when she took your truck, and you want her to somehow, and the truck is repossessed.
Yes.
Right? So that she doesn't have the rims anymore.
Right.
So you want her to give you money, and that somehow will make you feel better. That you'll have the money to look at that will remind you of your brother.
I never wanted any of this back until she brought this upon me. Only thing I wanted...
Just a second! You have her stuff. You have her things.
Yes.
The rims for the car are not yours. You neither purchased them, they were not bequeathed to you.
Yes, they...
No, they weren't. Show me a copy of the will where your brother left you his rims.
He didn't have a will.
All right. They were not bequeathed to you. They were sitting on a car that was going to be repossessed. You put it on a car that was in her name. And she left with the car. Period. End of discussion. This is her furniture. According to you, she came into the relationship with the bedroom set, and her mother gave you the living room set. That's hers. Her
Gave
personal
to both
property.
of us, Your Honor.
Sir, you had nothing to... You were just a thing. Do you understand? She would have given it to her daughter and the person, the other significant person in her daughter's life, irrespective of who that person was. She wanted her daughter to have a living room set to live on. Didn't make any difference who you were. Don't you understand that? Didn't make any difference.
No, I don't understand that, Your
It's
Honor.
very, very easy, sir. If she had chosen... Who is this person?
This is my brother. He's here as a witness.
Very good. If she had chosen your brother to have a child and a relationship with instead of you, her mother still would have given her the living room set. That's all I'm saying to you. So it didn't make any difference who you were. If she had chosen Bird, she would have still given her a living room set. Didn't make any difference who you were. Do you get it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. And so, but the bottom line is, what I'm telling you, is that you have a 2-year-old child together. we're talking about things, easily replaceable. She may not have done the right thing, and I'm not saying she did the right thing, because I'm telling you right now, if she leaves her child with her mother and goes out drinking or partying with friends and doesn't come back all night, and you change the locks on the apartment where you're living, that means that she has done an immature, stupid thing. Because when you have a young baby, you don't go out and play all night. You understand?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. You understand? So I'm not saying she's Miss Goody Two-Shoes. You have to
Yes, Your Honor.
understand. But you share custody with her. And if we're talking about things, Beanie Babies, I mean, what a mother of a 2-year-old child wants to do with Beanie Babies, I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue. But you picked her. You
Right.
have to deal with it. So get her stuff together and give her stuff back to you and stop being a big baby over ribs. As far as the broken nose was concerned, I don't see
Your
any
Honor.
proof of a broken nose.
Your Honor.
What?
Can I add some things? As far as me, you mentioned that I was being a baby.
Yeah.
I think I've been more than an adult about this whole thing. I initially took her to court for custody of my son. I've had my child support taken completely out of my check, so I never have to even deal with it. It's always paid up.
Good.
I fought her for over a year to get joint custody, and she still refused to have my name even on the birth certificate.
Okay, so you picked her.
Right, and that was my mistake. But I've got a beautiful son. out
You
of it.
picked her.
Right.
If you picked a baby to have a baby with, if she's acting inappropriately, you're living with your mother?
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes.
Good. Your mother helps you take care of the baby?
She helped when I take the baby to the babysitter, and then she'll pick him up.
When she's not at the bar.
Not smart. The fact that she's at a bar, if she is at a bar, if she does play, if she is not being totally responsible for your son, that's a terrible thing.
It is, Your Honor.
Terrible, terrible, terrible thing. But you have to live with it.
Right.
And if you're going to give her a zinger, what's going to happen is, at some point, she's going to make it difficult for you. You're going to make it difficult for her. Then it's going to be up to some family court judge to make a decision as to where your child goes. And you never know. You may get a good judge, somebody who'll look at the situation and say, listen, parents are equal. Mother, father. He's the more responsible parent. She's a barfly. Irresponsible. And I'm going to award this child to the father because that's where the child's best interest would be served. And then again, you may get some idiot, and there are a lot of them out there, who say, well, mothers are still 100% entitled to their child unless they beat them, unless they scald them. Little children always should be raised by their mother. There are still people that feel that way.
Right.
And some of them happen to be judges. So you may not be lucky enough to get somebody who's fair.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what I'm telling you is don't be a fool. Be careful. She's still the mother of your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good. That's all. What?
There is one other thing. There's a matter of storage fees for the furniture that I'm giving back to her
Uh-huh.
for 5 months' worth.
Mm-hmm. What were they?
$372 altogether.
What else did you have in there?
Just her belongings and my son's.
Did you use your son's belongings?
Not at that time. They were.
But
in
you're
storage
using them
bin.
now.
Yes. But I think she should, still be liable for the storage fees. I paid the storage at my expense so she wouldn't lose her furniture, Your Honor.
When did you tell her she could have her furniture?
Off and on throughout the whole year that I had this stuff.
Is that right?
Several
Come
times.
get it. I'd call him. I'm coming to get it. No, don't bother to come get it because you're not going to get it. I'm not giving
That's
you
not
nothing.
correct, Your Honor.
My mother has even asked for it.
You have at best $150. They half the storage because there was other stuff in there that's not property, that is solely hers. You're not talking about a lot of money, Mr. Schwant. Do you understand?
Right.
You understand? You're talking about principle.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm telling you to grow up.
I'm trying, Your Honor.
You're not trying hard enough, sir. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step back.
I think that she's a gold digger. She used me for what she could get.
I go to the bar maybe once a month, if that.
Left after I caught her cheating on me.
Stay away from men like that.
Stay away from her.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Mills versus Walton. Step forward, please.
Staffing consultant Denise Mills is suing her ex-boyfriend, consultant Gary Walton, for several unpaid loans. Gary is countersuing, claiming Denise destroyed his car engine.
Miss Mills, the defendant is a former boyfriend of yours. You claim a series of loans to him. Some of the loans had to do with towing expenses for a car. You're going to tell me about that in a minute. The defendant has a counterclaim because he said the same car that got towed had to have an engine replaced, and that was your fault. He wants you to pay for a new engine, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So how long did this romance last? When did it start? When did it end?
Your Honor, it started August of 2000 and it ended October 2001.
And when was the first loan, Miss Mills?
The first loan was in February of 2001 to help cover his rent for $300.
And that's a lie.
Listen, I want you to answer me only when I either look at your direction and go, something like that, or ask you a question. But we don't just shout out here.
Gotcha.
Okay. Do you recall the defendant giving you money for rent?
No, Your Honor.
She never gave you any money for rent?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Tell me the circumstances surrounding that, Miss Mills.
Sure. He was a wannabe actor and model, and when times were a little slow for him, he did approach me and asked me, and he was a little embarrassed and stuttered a little bit and asked if he could borrow $300 to cover.
And what did you say? You said he could borrow the $300?
Sure, absolutely.
What was the payment schedule?
He had told me that he had a couple gigs where he was going to be receiving residual checks and that he would be paying me back from those checks.
Okay, when was the second loan?
The second loan was the weekend of June 23rd through the 25th.
Okay, tell me about that.
We had gone to a wedding in Oakland, and he thought he had lost his wallet, and I loaned him $100 spending money and then $400 for the towing of the car.
Okay, that also happened during that weekend. The
Correct.
car towing? All right, tell me about that.
Dang it.
Did I look at you?
No, ma'am, but she's lying.
But you're going to have a turn, Mr. Walton. Mr.
I
Walton,
just say being lied upon.
Mr.
You know,
Walton,
I have my name here.
you're going to have a turn. And your turn will come when I say it's your turn.
So for that weekend, I loaned him a total of $500.
No. Just get to. You gave him $100 spending money.
Right, and then
you said that problem
to
with the car. So
Right.
let's hear.
Right, we're driving home. He's passed out in the back. I decided to drive for a couple hours. We pull over the side of the road. I ask him to start driving. He starts driving. The car dies. So we're sitting on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck. When the tow truck gets here, he has no money, and everybody's looking at me. So I was able to lend him the money.
And you have all the receipts for all of these?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. Anything else?
Another loan was made the night of July 21st. We had just attended a friend of mine, her wedding, and he decided he wanted to go to the casino to gamble for a little bit, and he gets there, and his ATM card doesn't work. So he told me that, if I lent him $100, he was going to pay me back the following week.
So far, we have $900. Now, according to your complaint, he paid you back a substantial portion of this
Correct.
money. Tell me how much he paid you back.
He's paid me back a total of $520.
Over what period of time?
I'd say between the months of July and February of this year.
Were you giving him money between July and February, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Really? It's like I'm listening to two different worlds here.
She's just upset because she caught me cheating on her.
I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in...
She's just upset about that.
Okay. The only thing you have to
Make-believe
tell me
fabricated.
is, Mr. Walton,
$300.
I'd like...
Sorry, Your Honor.
Yeah, like
Where do
I
you
don't
come
have
from?
$380.
Where do you come from?
I'm from Belize.
Is that where you live now?
No, ma'am. I live in California.
Where in California?
Anaheim.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a recruiter, a headhunter.
For?
Accounting and finance professionals.
Okay. What do you do, Mr. Walton?
Business consultant.
What kind of business?
Kind of the same business as her. I'd rather not say exactly what I do. But I do have a job.
I just want to know what you do for a living, sir.
Basically the same thing as she, Your Honor.
Well, what is that? I'd like somebody to explain it to me. Basically, what do you do?
I place accounting professionals in corporations and on a permanent basis.
And he does the same thing?
Do you want me to tell you what he does since he can't tell you?
Well, yeah.
He's the staffing manager. Basically, he works in the healthcare industry, and he places nurses in home care.
Okay. Now, I'd like you to tell me something, Mr. Walton, about your counterclaim.
Basically, everything she just says, fabricated lie. Secondly, what happened was Miss Mills was nice enough on that date in June to drive a vehicle back. I was tired. One of my buddies just got married. We've been partying all day and all night. Now, I told her that she cannot drive over 65 miles per hour because I have a diesel engine. Diesels burn oil at a faster rate. She says, no problem. Take care of it. Next time we go get gas, we need to stop off, get the oil, put some more oil in, etc. She never stops. And she proceeds to drive over 65 miles an hour. And the only reason why I know this is because when I woke up, I saw the gauge. It basically froze at about 75 miles an hour, and the oil light came on. And I said, I told you not to drive that fast. You knew that we would launch the engine. She seized the engine up because of that. And she says that she would pay for the towing because it was her fault. And she also paid for my engine.
No, Your Honor. No, never.
Liar. God.
Listen, whether she did or whether she didn't, you gave her permission to drive the car. Permission to drive the car because you weren't able to drive the car. It's not that she had borrowed.
Don't interrupt. I'm sorry.
It's not that she had borrowed your car, sir. You were supposed to be driving, I assume. You were tired because you'd been partying all night, so you asked her to drive the car. You wanted to be alert enough to watch and make sure that she wasn't driving over 65 or over 70 miles an hour. Stay awake. It's your car. Did you have any money with you that weekend?
Yes, I did. That was just actually a week after my birthday, so I get birthday money and I have a job.
So you had a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, so I don't need money from her.
Now, I believe her when she says that you gave her back money between July and February.
Your Honor.
No, between July and February. You were no longer seeing her, sir.
No, we were still off and on dating, and she knows it.
Well, if you were still off and on dating, did you in fact give her any money during that time?
Not as a payment of a loan.
What'd you give her money for?
Just so she could take her son out and do things like that. Just little recreational things because I love her son. I love the little guy.
Miss Mills, you have the bills for the towing?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Can I see them, please? Okay, so it's clear that she paid for the towing, right?
Yes, she did.
Uh-huh. Good. Any other receipts you want to show me?
Your Honor, I just have statements documenting the withdrawals of the cash, the locations of the bank.
Not necessary.
Okay.
I'm just curious as to why you kept such good record of this. You know, $100 here and $300 here.
Well, Your Honor, it's I've never been in a relationship where I've had to give a man money, ever. And when he first approached me, I was very uncomfortable. But because I did love him, I cared about him, and I trusted him, that's why I did it. And I think I'm the type of person, I just like to keep those records because you never know. And this is a perfect example of you never know. I mean, we were having a great relationship.
All right, well, your lawsuit seeks $380, including the towing charge. I do believe you that he gave back some of the money. I'm going to enter a judgment in your favor in the amount requested, $380, and I'm dismissing your counterclaim for the cost of the engine.
That's crap.
Fix it yourself. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's a bold-faced liar.
It's been hell.
I don't need to borrow money from a woman.
Take a look at him. I mean, he's really not worth $380.
She blew the engine. She should have paid for it.
If you've got a man and he's borrowing money from you, obviously he's not a man.
Don't trust a big butt and smile.
Watch your back.
Recording engineer Nathaniel Green is suing his ex-girlfriend, activity supervisor Takai Tomlin, for the value of his jewelry and for the return of his cat named 2.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 16 on the calendar in the matter of Green versus Tomlin. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Mr. Green, you and the defendant lived together for a period of time, broke up, she moved out.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it is your claim that she came back sometime later and took several items from the house that belonged to you. One was your cat, and the other is some jewelry.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defendant says that the cat really belonged to both of you, but was more attached to her. And as far as the jewelry is concerned, her answer is sort of, she took it.
Well,
so let me get some dates from you. When did you start to live together?
Well, this is probably like back in 99.
And when was the cat purchased?
July 2000.
Did you purchase it from somebody?
Yes, I purchased from a good friend of mine. I have the receipt showing that I purchased the cat.
What kind of cat was it?
Snowshoe cat.
Snowshoe cat?
Yes, ma'am.
Heard of it. Is that a pedigree cat?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Well, I have a picture too, Your Honor, of the cat.
Could I see it?
And on the back of the picture, Your Honor, if you would take a look, the defendant wrote some very disturbing things to me when she stole the cat from me.
Okay, so now I see the cat. When did the two of you separate?
November 2001, we separated.
Okay, is that when you moved out?
Mm-hmm.
Was it just the two of you living together?
I sent out 2 children.
You have 2 children together?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are the 2 children?
2 and 3 years old.
And you took the children with you?
At the time, yeah.
Where are they now?
Right now, they're with a babysitter.
But I take care of them. They live with me.
The children do live with him.
They live with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that by court order?
No, ma'am.
That was by agreement of the two of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when did you take the cat?
The beginning of January. When
Why?
I came back to get my things. The main reason for me leaving in the first place is because I found out he was cheating on me.
Okay.
So when I came...
But you came back in January.
And I got my
Excuse me,
things.
Your Honor. That's not true. I wasn't cheating on her. It was a rumor that her friends
No.
spread to her.
Okay, I'm not going there.
Okay.
I'm talking about the cat.
Right.
You came back in January. You had not taken the cat in November.
No.
So you came back in January. Why did you take the cat in January?
When I came back in January, I got all of my things. I picked up all of my things and everything. I just felt the cat would be better off with me.
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I say something? Before we even started, dating, I had another cat, and my cat passed away. I bought this cat, and, it took a lot of pressure off of me from my first cat being deceased. And it meant a lot to me sentimentally. And I don't understand why this woman would take my cat from my house.
She took the cat because she was angry.
I understand that, but she...
How's that? She took the cat because she was angry.
Your Honor, I have some letters that the defendant was writing me, threatening me about my cat.
Let me see that.
And things that she took from me.
I'm not going to get to the other things until I finish with the cat.
Okay.
Do you understand? One thing at a time. You were very angry.
Excuse me.
Shh. All right. Now let's get to the jewelry. When you came back in January, you took some jewelry that belonged to him. Tell me what you took.
It was a chain with a pendant and a Rolex watch. It was in a box.
And the Rolex watch belonged to?
Nathaniel.
Where did Nathaniel get the Rolex watch from?
He says from his father.
Why did you take the jewelry? For the same reason you took two?
At the time that I took the box and everything, I was angry. I didn't care about how he felt or anything because...
Well, you wanted to feel badly.
Yeah.
Listen to me. You have two children together. Do you visit your children?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so you see them regularly? What's supposed to happen is that when a relationship doesn't work out, I don't care how long it is, in this case it's since 1999, you're not supposed to go through hating. You're supposed to say, it didn't work out, terrible, he hurt me, he violated me, but I have two children with him, and I want to have a reasonable relationship with him just for the sake of the children. So I don't want to do anything that's going to, long-term, continue this hate. Do you understand?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Mr. Green, you feel as if you need a cathartic experience here. Is there anything else you want to say to me?
Yes, as far as my Rolex watch, my father had left it to me. He had passed away, and it was real sentimental to me. And this woman, she hurt me. I really do still love this woman because we have kids and I want to work it out, but I could never trust her again. I don't even think she has my stuff anymore.
She has your stuff.
I have the cat.
Where's the other stuff?
I pawned it.
Where?
MCDs, I think it's called.
When did you pawn it?
February.
When does the ticket expire?
I'm not sure.
I'm never going to see my stuff again, Your Honor. I'm never.
I'm really not sure.
Well, didn't you think you should find that out before you came here today? How much did you pawn it for?
The watch was $4,000. The chain was $1,900, I think.
And what'd you do with the money?
Well, right now, like I said, I'm in between places. That's why the children are with him, so...
She has no stable life, Your Honor.
No, I don't, honestly.
Well, I'm asking you, what did you do with the money?
At that point, I bought some things.
She's a liar,
I was
Your
staying
Honor.
with someone,
She's a
so
liar.
I gave my sister some money also.
Listen, let me tell you this, Mr. Green. Your lawsuit seeks $2,600 from Miss Tomlin. That's
Right.
what you're suing her for.
Right, ma'am.
Okay, that has nothing to do with the cat because you're talking about the jewelry. She
Right.
got a lot more for the jewelry. Now, I don't know whether she can get it back. I'm not sure how long these pawn tickets are good for. Whether they're good for 30 days or 60 days
I've been trying
or
to get
90
my
days.
jewelry back all this time, Your
Well,
Honor.
she made a very, very bad mistake.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And later today,
Did you ever take her out for dinner?
No, not really. I ain't spend no big money on her.
I'm not talking about big money. I'm asking you, went on a date. Did you pay?
Not really, because she wanted to pay for everything. She wanted to pay for everything, you know.
All right, listen, you must be absolutely wonderful.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Nathaniel Green says ex-girlfriend Takai Tomlin stole his jewelry and his cat named Tu. Takai says she only took what she was entitled to.
You have to start to be smart, Mr. Green. I said it to her. I don't know if she's accepting it, but you have to be smart. Right now you have your 2 children living with you. They have a mother. The mother sees the children. I don't know whether this relationship will come together again. It may. In the meantime, she has to do the right thing. Give you back your cat, do you understand? And give you back your jewelry. Miss Tomlin, do you understand?
Yes.
And then you will not be so angry with her. She may still continue to be angry at you, but she will be able to see her children with a lighter heart. You're not supposed to continue to dredge up the past.
I tried working with her. I tried working with her. I tried getting back my stuff for a matter of time.
Sorry, Mr. Green. I really thought I could get at least your father's watch back for you. But if she sold it, there's nothing I can do for you except give you the judgment that you're requesting and suggest to you that she did the wrong thing. I think that at this point, at least I hope she knows she did the wrong thing. In the scheme of things, I know that you're hurt because you don't have your stuff, but you have the most important possessions, and that's your 2 children. Do you understand?
Right. Your Honor, how am I sure that I'm getting my cat back, Your Honor?
I will prepare an order that you get your cat back, and you can use a sheriff or a marshal to ensure
I've
that
been trying to be nice to this woman, work with this woman, and she know that how I feel about my cat.
Mr. Green, all I can do is prepare an order. If she refuses to give you the cat, I think it's a big mistake because you have custody of your 2 children. If she wants to continue to be able to enjoy a reasonable flow of visitation with the children, with the person who has custody, that's their father, then what she's supposed to do is do the right thing. You did the wrong thing with regard to the jewelry. Now you better do the right thing with regard to the cat so that he doesn't have to go and get a marshal to enforce the order. Do you understand, Miss Tomlin? He has physical custody and takes care of the most precious things that the 2 of you have together, and that's your children. Not the cat, and not the Rolex, and not the chain and pendant. So you're supposed to do the right thing, not the wrong thing. Grow up. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested in your suit, $2,600. That's all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
My father's watch and my cat, she knew how I really felt about it, and she really wanted to hurt me, and she succeeded.
Now knowing I have a conscience and I feel bad that I hurt him. It's too bad he didn't feel that way about me.
She said if I keep on calling her trying to get my stuff back, I wouldn't get my stuff back, and I find my cat in the pet cemetery.
Everything I wrote and said, I did out of anger.
When you have kids, try to work things out, you know, because you're hurting the kids in the long run.
Factory worker John Goro is suing his ex-girlfriend, laundromat attendant Janice Berezowski, for damage to his car caused by her 10-year-old son, Justin. Janice says Justin was trying to protect her from a drunk John.
Order? Come to order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 123 on the calendar in the matter of Garau versus Berezowski. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Young man, have a seat, please.
Mr. Garau, you and the defendant have known each other, according to what I've read, for many years.
Yes, ma'am.
It is your claim that the defendant is responsible for damage that her 10-year-old son did to your car.
Yes.
And tell me when this incident occurred and where it happened.
This incident occurred 5/6/02.
Yes?
In front of her house while Justin was working on his bicycle.
You went to her house?
Yes, I did.
In your car?
Yes, I did.
What did you go there for?
To see her.
So you pulled up into the driveway or in front of
Or
the house?
in front of the house.
Pulled up in front of the house, and what happened?
Jan got into the passenger side. We sat in the car for a few minutes, and I said, well, hey, let's go up to the store. I wanted to go up to the store. And I cranked the engine up.
And she said, okay, she was going to go
She
to the
was
store.
going to go with me. And
No,
Justin asked, where are you going, Ma? And she told me, nowhere. So I shut the car down. But I turned around and I asked her again. I says, come on, well, let's just go up to the store. So I started the car back up. I proceeded maybe about a foot. This is when Justin ran up to the car with a bike rim, overloaded it onto the windshield. I have pictures.
What do you mean
of
overloaded it?
Well, he smashed the window out.
Okay.
I also have pictures of the air conditioning vent before and after, and what he had done with the wrench.
Why do you think he was so upset, Mr. Garau?
Because the mother pampers him too much. Wherever she goes, he's got to go. Like little Bo Beep lost her sheep, you know.
Well, who else was home with him at the time?
Her second oldest son, Nicholas, was home.
All right, you want to tell me your version of these events?
Yes, I went into the car. I had no shoes on. I left the door open, the car door open. I never closed the door.
That car
Justin
door was
asked
closed.
me.
Don't interrupt her.
Justin asked me, Mom, you going somewhere? I said, no, I am not going anywhere. And then Justin responded, my mom's not going anywhere. And then Justin came into the car, pulling me on my lap, saying, come on, my mom doesn't want to go. She said she's not going anywhere. That is when John backhanded him like this to his chest. John proceeded to go a foot about. His feet were out of the car. Then I was yelling at John. John stopped the car. Justin got out. I got out. Then John came out of the car and was upset with Justin because Justin did not want me to go, and I didn't want to go. Justin was afraid for me to go. And John hit him on the shoulder then. Justin then went to throw the bike rim, because he was changing his tire, at John. Not at the car, but it did hit the car.
So you're telling me that the plaintiff put his hands on your son?
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. If it was true that it happened, that's something that you would have indicated in here. Let me tell you, in case you forgot what you swore to in your answer. You said, Justin was upset because he thought John was forcing me to leave and John was drunk. Justin was trying to get me out of the car. When John pulled away, John narrowly missed running over Justin's feet. That's when Justin threw the bike rim that cracked John's windshield. Nowhere in this statement do you say that he got out of the car and put his hands on your son, which any mother would say. So when I ask you a question, you may be in the right and you may not be responsible for what your son did. But if you lie to me, then I'll never know. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. So let's start again, and let's try to make the stories consistent.
Okay, I left the door open. Justin asked me if I was going somewhere. I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. And then Justin said, my mom's not going anywhere. John did, though, push him toward on his chest. He did. And Justin was pulling on me.
You were in the car at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
He was in the car at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
So he didn't get out of the car and hit him on the shoulder?
This was in the beginning.
He didn't get out of the car and hit him on the shoulder?
Not at that present time, no.
No, right.
And then, after John had stopped, Justin was out of the car. John did get out of the car and go to the lawn and hit Justin on his shoulder. He did.
Did you ever hit the child?
No, ma'am, I did not.
I don't believe that he hit him.
May I speak, ma'am?
Yes.
Well, after Justin broke the windshield, I sat there with, I'm astounded. My windshield's broke.
Where were you when the windshield was broken?
I was sitting on the driver's side with both doors closed.
And where was she sitting?
Right alongside of me, it's a bucket seat.
So she was actually sitting there
Yes.
when he hit the windshield?
Yes.
And what happened? What did Justin say after he cracked the windshield?
Next thing I know, I look over and Justin's sticking a wrench into the air vent. And I said, that's enough. I jumped out of the car. But I went towards Justin. But when I looked and seen that her oldest son was standing there, I says, no. I'll just go and call the police. I went home, which I have a police report. And it says that the mother didn't do anything.
No, she didn't.
She didn't do anything.
Justin, stand up next to your mother. You're 10 years old?
Yes,
Why did you crack his windshield?
because he had hit me in the car.
He hit you? How did he hit you in the car?
He had reached over and hit me
Where did he hit you?
in my chest.
You mean he pushed you? That's why you broke his windshield?
And then I hit my head on the window.
Sit down. Before this thing escalated into a major confrontation with your son, why didn't you just get out of the car?
He asked me if he could speak with me.
What was he speaking to you about?
He wanted me to go up to the store with him first. He said, and then we can discuss matters, because we don't get along that well. And he's always calling Justin vulgar names, constantly.
And you have no right to be with him, madam, if he's calling your child vulgar names. Were you drinking that day, too?
No.
Were you drinking that day?
Yes.
Was she drinking that day?
No.
What are you doing behind the wheel of a car drinking?
I wasn't drinking in the car.
You had been drinking. What were you doing driving a car, having had things to drink?
I had a few beers, Your Honor.
Had no reason to get into the car.
But I was capable of driving the car, which
You
I
say.
know it was wrong.
You say.
Yes, ma'am.
You say. Have you ever been drunk in front of her child before?
Yes.
Has there ever been any incident of domestic violence between the two of you where you've been drinking?
I'd say no.
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
His behavior in the past has not been the kind of behavior that you want to expose your children to. And you continue to expose them to him because if he wasn't drinking on that day, there's always tomorrow. You got me?
And later today,
All the wires to the electrical things in my room were cut.
You were angry.
About what?
About what? About being evicted from the apartment.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. John Gorel says his ex-girlfriend's son, 10-year-old Justin Berezowski, smashed out his windshield. Justin says he retaliated after John hit him.
Mr. Gorel, I believe that you are at least partially responsible for the atmosphere that was created on that day. You have a 10-year-old child who has seen you in a state where you are intoxicated. He's probably seen some instance of, if not real violence between the two of you, words that were exchanged that were not nice. And then you come over to the house. But clearly, his desire not to have his mother leave with you, he tries to act like a protective man of the house. That doesn't mean that you are solely responsible, because I think his mother bears some of this responsibility. Because despite the fact that he says he has been intoxicated in front of you, intoxicated in front of your son, you continue to socialize with him.
You're right.
Right. And your son is outside, and you too know, or you should know as a mother, that your son has witnessed things that a 10-year-old should not witness. Right?
That's correct.
Okay. So,
would you please listen to this, Your Honor?
No.
I have
Please,
something else
it's
to
very
say, Your Honor,
important.
Listen to
myself.
me. You think that you're not partially responsible?
No, I never said that.
Well, good. That's what I'm saying to you. The damage that we're talking about is $500. You're partially responsible. Put your hand down, sir. You're not paying good attention. You're not getting the whole picture. I get the picture. She likes to have a social relationship with you, even though the two of you together may not do the right thing all the time in front of this 10-year-old child, and the 10-year-old child is reacting to past history.
Can I say something, please?
Yes.
All I did, when he had called me, I asked him if he had been drinking, and he said no.
So, what
So
does
I
that have
did-
to do with what I just said to you? His behavior in the past has not been the kind of behavior that you want to expose your children to. And you have. And you continue to expose them to him because if he wasn't drinking on that day, there's always tomorrow. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
You got me? You have exposed your children to things that they should not have been exposed to. And if your son is reacting to that, you're partially responsible. He's partially responsible. But he's not his child. He's your child. So he bears half the cost. Suing for $500, judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $250. You pay the rest. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't think I should have had to pay anything because he was provoked in it.
Takes two to tango.
Stay alone if you encounter men like this.
Hired driver Rafael Valley is suing his son, 27-year-old truck driver Jose Valley, and his daughter-in-law, 22-year-old customer service rep Cynthia Valley. Rafael says the couple owes for a loan to bail Jose out of jail.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 34 on the calendar in the matter of Valley versus Valley.
Thank you, Bert.
Quite welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Having a senior moment there, darling?
Having a senior moment.
Get used to it. Mr. Valley, the defendant is your son.
Yes, ma'am.
And the co-defendant is your daughter-in-law.
Yes, Your Honor.
According to your complaint, sir, your son was arrested sometime this
August.
year. Last year.
Last year.
And you made an arrangement with your daughter-in-law for a loan for his bail.
Yes.
Well, your daughter-in-law says it has nothing to do with her. Your son says he never made an arrangement with you to pay you back. As far as he was concerned, this was a gift because you're his father. Is that right, sir?
Yes, how can you sue your own sperm?
I didn't ask you for any other information other than either a yes or a no. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Don't play cute with me. Mr. Valley, how many times has your son been arrested? Only once, is that right?
Once or twice.
Once or twice. Who called you or contacted you to post his bail?
My wife and Cindy came over, told me.
Is this your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Step up, please.
Then my son tried to hang himself.
Just a minute. Your wife and Cindy, that's
Yes,
your
Miss
daughter-in-law,
Rana.
came to your house?
Yes.
Do you live with your wife?
No, ma'am.
Did you come to Mr. Valley's home and have a discussion with him about his son being in jail?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
When was that?
August
8/16.
And did you come with your daughter-in-law?
Well, she wasn't my daughter-in-law then, but we did go together because we didn't have enough money on our own.
How did it come to pass that you came to your husband's house and asked him for money?
Well, me and my husband have always had an arrangement. If anything was to happen to the kids, we'd always get in touch with one another. Now, this was a real bad predicament of where my son was in jail, and I went to my husband 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
With Cynthia?
Yes. And I spoke with my husband, and I says to him, you know, come on, we got to help him. We always helped every one of our kids, all the time. And he gave us $1,000.
Just a minute. Were you present when Cindy had a discussion with him about paying back this money?
Yes.
Tell me about the discussion.
She said that after the trial was over or whatever, that she would pay him back whatever she could. And, you know, we were expecting the money back.
She told him that?
Yes.
Now, at that time, your husband gave you, you said, $1,000.
Right.
How much was the bail?
$4,600. I provided $1,500, and then my husband called me, I'd say about 6 o'clock, and he left a message on my voicemail, and he said that he had $500 more to give us. So he said, come down and get it. I went and got it, and then we put all the money together. Nobody else put up any money except me, my husband, and Cindy.
Cindy put up some money, too?
Yes, she did.
And you put up $1,500?
I put up 15 of my own, yes.
Did you ever get that back?
No.
How come?
Well, for the first thing, my son was living in my home for a whole year. Never had him pay rent, never had him buy food until the last 2 months. Last 2 months, I became unemployed. I had thyroid surgery, so they would pay me $25 a week, and my son was merrily taking it off the bill. I says, why is he doing that? This is something that I needed for my home, you know, for my own salvation.
This was before he got arrested?
No, this is after.
After he got arrested?
Yeah.
Okay. I got it now. So he was paying you off in his mind for the bail by deducting some money.
Right. But he never gave anything to my husband.
Okay. Now, when did you get married?
February 22nd.
Well, Mr. Valley, you don't owe your father anything.
Thank you.
She does! Because in order to create a loan, you have to have an agreement with the person, Mr. Valley.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you called your son and said, do you want me to loan you this money? And he said yes, then you do it. But she said, I'll pay you back, right?
No.
Yes, you did. I was watching your face as they were speaking. Yes, you did. You said, I'll pay you back what I can.
No. I never even spoke to him. He gave the money to Paula Valley, and from Paula Valley went to the bail bond lady.
You were present with her in the house?
No, it wasn't at the house. She met him in the corner store, and I stood in the car.
And you were never there?
I was in the car.
You never spoke to him?
Never. That was the first
Miss
time I
Valley.
ever seen him.
No, you did speak with him, Cindy. You
Miss
even
Valley.
said to him. You even said to him,
tell me.
thank you.
I never
Tell me.
spoke to him.
Yes, you
Never.
did. Yes, you did.
Cindy, please.
Miss Valley, you don't have to, don't speak. There's no question in my mind that she said, I'll pay you back. Look at her face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at her face. There's no question in my mind. She may not have meant it. She may have meant he'll pay you back.
Well, that's what she said to him later, all right? In the end of March, he come over the house. And
Who did?
My husband. And he went face to face with her. Now, my son was in the back washing his car, and Cindy was in the front, and she was coming down the stairs. I said nothing. My husband said to her, he said, hey, when are you going to pay me back? I have to go see my sister. And she says, well, you'll have to take that up with my husband. Hello? They just got married, you know? I mean, give me a break.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
This young lady was babysitting for you? You like her?
Not anymore. I know she stole the money.
If I can't trust her with cash in my house, how can I trust her with my kids?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Raphael Valley says his son and his daughter-in-law, Jose and Cynthia Valley, owe for a loan to bail Jose out of jail.
There isn't a question in my mind that Mrs. Valley, the junior Mrs. Valley, made an agreement with your husband to pay you back the bail, sir. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That has nothing to do with your son. Of course, it's his moral responsibility, but he could not create a contract with you because he didn't speak to you. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500 against the co-defendant. Thank you. That's all.
You're excused. You may step out.
Just get my money back. It's still my son.
Never take money from family.
You need somebody money? Write it down first.
It's all about greed.
It's been hard.
And I hope he's happy now.
He didn't like it, but it had to be done.
I just don't understand how you could sue your own son. I mean, something that you made.
I hate to tell my son, but he's going to be sued again, this time by his mother for a little bit more.
They're crazy and they need mental health.
Marquis Marshall and Kai Booker are suing their former employer, Gary Zephyrin, for unpaid wages.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2071, Booker Marshall versus Zephyrin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Zephyrin?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Zephyrin, you're being sued by these two people because they say they worked for you delivering packages, I believe, of auto parts. Is that right?
Yes, Judge.
And you didn't pay them. That's simple. You're in the auto parts business or just the delivery business?
Just the delivery business.
For how long?
For about a year.
Explain the business to me, since you're not in the auto parts business, just the delivery business. I have to understand the process and keep it short.
The process is I go to the store, pick up the car parts.
Go to what store?
Hyundai or Toyota.
So you go to the manufacturer?
Yes.
Or the dealership?
The dealership.
And get the part?
And get the part and deliver them.
And you take them to independent garages that fix cars?
Yes.
Okay, now I understand. Your business is, you're sort of a middle person between your local auto repair shop and the manufacturer who manufactures those parts or its dealer.
Yes, that's correct.
You don't make a markup on the part, you're just paid for your delivery service. Is that right?
Yes. I do not pay for the parts. All I do is drive and deliver the parts.
So the part has already been ordered and paid for?
Yes.
By the garage, by ABC Garage?
Yes.
They just send you to expedite the delivery?
Yes, ma'am.
And how much do you get paid for each delivery?
Well, it's not by each delivery. At this particular contract, it was between $120 and $160 a day.
And you said that this particular contract, what contract is that?
This is the car parts contract. Before the car parts, delivering the car parts, I was delivering packages.
But this operation was just car parts?
Yes, it was.
Now, at some point, these two people, how many vans do you have that deliver the parts?
Currently, I have one van.
What were they using to deliver the parts?
The van that I have.
And what did you do?
I worked my 9 to 5.
You had a different job?
Yes.
What kind of job did you have?
I work at the Navy Yard.
So this is sort of a side gig?
A hobby, I would say.
Well, a hobby, $120, $160 a day is a nice hobby.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. And so based upon what you told me before, both of these people did, in fact, deliver parts using your van to various ABC garages.
They also used it for personal use, too, yes.
I don't care, but they used it because you didn't use it. You were doing your day job, according to you.
Yes.
And this was a side gig where these two people were working during the day to deliver the parts.
Mr. Marshall was working during the day.
Okay, let's just say Mr. Marshall.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Marshall sort of contracted with Miss Booker, or did you?
Mr. Marshall did.
You contracted with her. You agreed with her that you would split up this delivery. You would do it a couple of days, and she would do it a couple of days.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, so you had no direct agreement with him. Miss Booker, Mike, look at me. My question is, did you have a direct agreement or ever meet or discuss salary with the defendant?
No, I did not discuss.
And you can sit down. Okay. Because you have to have some sort of an agreement with someone in order to sue them. You had no agreement with him. Whatever agreement you had with him, correct? Is that right?
Yes.
And am I correct, Mr. Marshall, that you were supposed to be paid, according to you, a certain amount per day to make these deliveries? You decided you wanted to work 3 days a week and she would work 2?
Yes.
That's what I thought I read. Okay. How much was the defendant supposed to pay you a day?
$80, Judge.
So you had a deal for between $120 and $160 a day. You were paying him $80. You were working your day job. And so you were either going to get $40 or $80, depending upon the work that was done, right?
Correct.
And you were going to get that as a result of his work.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, this is what you say. You say that you all decided to go into business together. You bought this van. You paid for the insurance. He was going to work and make the deliveries. I'm telling you what you wrote.
Okay.
And if you have a problem with that, you'll tell me in a minute.
Okay.
He was supposed to work, make the deliveries, and not get paid until you paid off all your expenses, your startup expenses, the van, your insurance. Didn't you say that to me?
Yes, I
Or maybe I'm thinking about another case.
I did.
You did say that to me.
I just wasn't correct, the we, because I bought the van and I paid up all the stuff.
I said you paid. I didn't say he paid. You paid the van. You paid for the insurance. He was going to drive. He says you were supposed to pay him $80 a day to do that because you had a full-time job. You were making your money. Your defense to it is that that was not the agreement. The agreement was that he would work for free until all the expenses were paid off that you advanced for the little business.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How much was the van?
$2,000.
So it was an old van.
Yes.
And how many months did you work at this job before you had a kerfuffle with him?
A year and 3 months.
Is that correct, sir, that he worked a year and 3 months?
It seems more about close to a year to me.
And when you say you worked for a year, was that 52 weeks a year?
Yes.
5 days a week?
Yes. Sometimes on Saturday.
From when to when?
I would work, depending
No, from what month and year to what month and year?
January 2021 until March or April 2022.
And in that year plus, how much money did you make? If you kept records of the days that you worked and how many hours you worked and how much you were supposed to be paid, then I could look at that. But I can't do this. This is ridiculous.
Judge, may I explain?
You can try, but you're going to be unsuccessful, Mr. Marshall, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to try.
And later today.
He did, in fact, bring you a truck.
He didn't.
Never brought you a truck.
Never brought me the truck, never returned my money, anything.
Oh.
Marquis Marshall and Kai Booker claim their former employer, Gary Zephyrin, owes for unpaid contractor work.
Okay. In that year plus, how much money did you make?
Judge, it's a tough question because Mr. Zephyrin never paid me what he was supposed to pay me. He always came up with an excuse or a reason why.
I want to know how much money you made in that year.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well,
Judge.
Then I can't help you. I have to know how much money he paid you, and I'm going to figure out from how much money he paid you, because even if I buy his defense, the van was only $2,000. So you have to sit down and figure out how much, unless you know. How much did you pay him?
Around $320 a week.
What do you mean around? I mean, you're a businessman.
He did not work 5 days a week. He's saying he worked 4 to 6 days a week. All he worked was 3 to 5 days a week.
I assume you were paid in cash?
Yes.
But you were paid during that year?
Yes.
Give me an idea in thousands how much you were paid.
Around $20,000.
$20,000?
Yes, Judge.
Around?
Yes, Judge.
So he did, in fact, pay you?
He didn't pay me everything he was supposed to pay me, Judge.
Well, how am I supposed to figure that out, sir? How am I supposed to figure that out? You keep records of what you delivered? Does he keep records? He doesn't have to prove your case. You have to prove your case.
Yes, Judge.
So do you keep records of when you worked and when you were paid?
Yes, I keep records of when I worked, Judge, but I did not keep records of what I was paid because we're always arguing. He never paid me the full $700.
That's not the reason you don't keep records. I'm sorry, Mr. Marshall. If you kept records of the days that you worked and how many hours you worked and how much you were supposed to be paid, then I could look at that. And I can ask him, and I assume he's a businessman. He would have the same records, and there may be a dispute, but I can't do this. This is ridiculous.
Judge, may I explain?
You can try, but you're going to be unsuccessful, Mr. Marshall, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to try.
I appreciate it, Your Honor. Mr. Zephyrin was my friend. We went to the same high school, played on the same high school basketball team. I was the MVP, he was the team captain. Recently, his health has been declining. Because his health has been declining a year ago, I went to Mr. Zephyrin and I said, I'm a private contractor and I have different contracts or places. I think that you should do private contracts so you can spend more time with your kids and your wife. I apologize, but I'm emotional.
Well, don't get emotional.
I used to love
Mr. Marshall.
This gentleman.
Mr. Marshall, what I'm telling you is don't get emotional. This is not...
Okay.
It's a sad thing that you know each other for a long time, I hear, and that it's come down to a case in court. But you have to understand that in order for me to make a judgment, I need facts and information. And it's not as if you're saying to me that you delivered packages, which he acknowledges, and you were never paid. What you say is that you were shortchanged.
Yes, Judge.
And you have to be able to show me that.
I have the agreement of Mr. Zephyrin agreeing to pay me the $80 a day, and we came out with a pay
Just
scale.
a second. That's okay. I have to see when you worked and what you were paid. How am I supposed to figure out what it is that he owes you?
Because we both know that he only paid me $300 instead of the $700. We both know that.
Well, he paid you $20,000, so that's not true. According to you, he paid you $20,000. So if what you're saying that he paid you $300 and he owed you $700, is that what you're saying to me?
Yes.
Okay, so it was the last period of time that you worked for him?
Yes.
Okay, so that last period of time was when to when? Give me the month, give me the day.
January to March this year.
From January to March
Yes, Judge.
of 2022,
Yes, Judge.
you work and you claim you were owed $700. That's what you just said. Is that correct?
I apologize for the miscommunication, Judge. He only paid me $3 when he was supposed to pay me $7.
Just a second. You're not paying attention to me, sir. I said your claim is that he owed you $700.
He owes me more than $700.
No. What you said was he owed me $700 and he only paid me $300. Could you read that back?
Yes.
Could you read that?
Yes, Judge. You're correct, Judge.
Okay, then we don't have to read it back. That's why I have Whitney. You said he owed me $7, he only paid me $3, which means he owes you $400.
Correct, Judge.
And that was from a January to a March.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Do you have any records of that, sir?
I paid him in cash, so I don't have any records of the payments that I was paying him. Mr. Marshall, he really never wanted me to keep records.
Okay, don't tell me what he wants. It's your business. Don't be foolish, sir. Did you have a dispute with him over this $400?
I did. We had many disputes.
Okay. Did you, in those disputes, refer to a part that got misdelivered by either the plaintiff or the person who he subcontracted with that caused you to lose a customer?
Yes.
And was that the reason that you didn't give him the $400? Just listen to my question. You had a dispute after all this time over a part, according to your answer, that was misdelivered to a customer.
Yes.
Which caused you, according to you, to lose the customer. I don't know that. But that you indicated was the reason that this arrangement went south. So my question to you is that why you didn't pay him the $400?
No, it's not. He didn't return my van.
Oh, so the reason you didn't pay him the $400 that you acknowledged that you owe him was because he kept your van.
And my contract was canceled due to Cab Booker.
Okay. Did you get your van back?
Yes, I did.
How many days later?
2 days later, after I threatened to call the police.
Okay, you owe him the $400, sir. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $400. We're finished. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
You can't keep somebody's van for 48 hours and still expect your money.
He's lying about the fact that we stole the van and that we had it for those 2 days.
I think it was really bad that he's suing me over this. We've been friends since high school.
Document everything that you do when you do it. That would make better sense.
But hey, things happen. He got a new girlfriend and things happen.
Not a difficult situation. If you choose to pay an employee in cash, you have to keep records. Both parties should have kept some sort of records. Otherwise, what they were asking me to do was guess. This defendant actually made it easy for me because without his statement, I would have dismissed the case. He said the reason he kept the $400 because plaintiff did not return his van right away, kept it for 2 days. Well, that's sort of retaliatory. How do you fix $400 as
cost for keeping
as a
the
cost?
van?
You know, that's ridiculous. That's self-help. Keep records,
You should.
especially if you want to come to court.
Exactly.
Fatoumata Diallo is suing salon owner Kanaya Taylor for 5 wigs.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2008, Delano versus Taylor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Briefly, and then I'll get into specifics. You sold over the internet some wigs. You claim you sold them to the defendant.
Yes.
They were charged on a credit card. According to you, it was the defendant's credit card. You shipped the wigs. The defendant, according to you, received the wigs, then challenged the credit card charge, and the charge was reversed so that you did not get your money. And Miss Taylor kept the wigs. It is Miss Taylor's claim that you never sold her the wigs, that you sold the wigs to clients of hers, and if they didn't pay you, that's not her problem. Is that your defense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Stop jumping up and down because it makes me seasick.
Okay.
Stand still. I can't. You can't. You want a stool to sit on?
No.
You sure?
I just have anxiety.
Okay. Miss Diallo, how long had you been in the online wig business?
3 years now.
And on what date did Miss Taylor contact you?
October 1st of 2021.
Had you ever dealt with her before?
I haven't. A customer of mine actually referred her to me.
You had not dealt with her before?
Correct.
And her first order was for what?
A 34-inch deep wave wig unit.
I don't know what that is. Tell me how much it cost you.
$391.
And how much did you charge Miss Taylor?
$491.96.
And you shipped it to her?
No, I didn't.
Where did you ship it?
Right now, I didn't ship anything at the moment.
Okay, so she ordered the first one for $491.
Yes, and then after that, I shipped after.
How many did she order all in total?
In total, 5.
Within what period of time?
In a span of 4 days.
Okay, and Miss Taylor, you do not deny the fact that 5 wigs were ordered in a conversation over the internet with the plaintiff. Uh-huh is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of those orders?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see them, please. Who's Joyce?
One of my clients. Your Honor, that's her.
Shh. Do you have a MasterCard?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any credit card?
Yes, ma'am.
How long has Joyce been a client of yours?
Probably about a year.
When you say she's a client of yours, she comes to your salon?
Yes.
You have a
my
salon?
apartment. No, I have to do my hair out of my apartment.
So she comes to your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know when she wants to come for an appointment?
She'll text me. She'll DM me.
Okay, so she texts you, which means she texts you from a phone.
Right.
Which means that you have your phone, which shows her text messages.
Not.
What do you mean, not? If she texts you for an appointment, then you know how to contact her.
Yeah.
And she knows how to contact you. I want to see that. I want to call her.
I don't have that phone anymore.
Get it. You have to understand where I'm going. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, you understand where I'm going. Who is that?
My boyfriend.
Your boyfriend. What does he have to do with this?
Because he was at the house when her and someone else came to the door.
I don't care.
Okay.
If I were coming to court today and I knew that there was going to be a certain amount of proof that involved some person who is named Joyce, and order confirmation email was sent to Joyce at your email address.
Right.
Right. And Joyce is somebody who was a client of yours for a year, not too long ago, who's no longer a client of yours. Not uh-huh. Uh-huh isn't an answer. Yes is an answer.
Ma'am.
But you can't give me her number to call because you lost your phone.
Yes. And she blocked me after I start asking her about the dispute.
Well, just a second. Well, that's 2 different things. You see, if she may have blocked your number, she won't block my number. That's not what you told me. You told me you don't have that phone anymore.
I don't.
Well,
and she blocked me.
How do I know that?
Her. I don't know.
How do I know that? Yeah, right. Okay. Dora Dynasty, is that your?
Yes, that's my business.
That's your business. Well, these wigs were sent to Dora Dynasty.
Right.
Right. I know, right. And who is?
A client.
And is still your client?
No.
No. Okay, you seem to be having a lot of trouble in your business.
How?
Yeah.
I've been having this trouble ever since the wigs have got delivered, and she hit me about a dispute.
Let me explain something to you. You purchased the wigs based upon her conversation.
I got
She had
them sent to my house.
just pay careful attention to me. They were all delivered to you.
Right.
That means you bought them. If somebody stiffed you, that's not her problem. But according to her, and you acknowledge that she sent you 5 wigs, and the is not an answer. Do you understand? You following me? Okay. What was the total value of her purchase?
$21.96.
And can I see the reversal of that charge on your credit card?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at some point, your credit card was charged. At some point, your credit card was charged. That's either a yes or a no.
No.
Whose credit card was charged?
My client's.
Which client?
I'm not sure. Whichever wig she said was disputed.
You said in your answer you kept all the wigs.
No, I didn't. I didn't keep all the wigs. They got delivered to my house. 2 of them I installed, and the rest they picked up.
The wigs got shipped directly to my salon.
The wig shipped to my apartment because I was going to do their hair. I told them about the vendor.
Are you trying to tell me that despite the records that she has, that you were the contact person on all of this?
Right.
Nobody else?
Right.
Just you?
Right.
That you gave these wigs to somebody else?
They
to 4 other
paid
people?
for 'em.
They paid who?
They paid her. They paid for the wigs, and they got them shipped to my house.
Were 4 different people charged for the wigs?
Yes.
4 different people?
Yes. She did 5 different transactions.
Are you telling me that the 5 different transactions were all her?
All her.
That makes my life easy. So what you're saying to me, she charged it on 5 different cards.
Yes. No, I didn't.
But she is all of those people.
All of them. How?
I'd like to see it.
Please. And Your Honor, she also admits it on Twitter. She doesn't actually know I have her Twitter account. And this is how she gets them. She orders,
May I see it, please? See how you're smiling? Bad. She should have left you home.
Man, please.
Do you understand? She should have left you home.
Nah, they just ain't
You
communicating
should have left
right.
you home.
They ain't communicating right.
Still not a good look from you.
Fatoumata Diallo claims salon owner Kanaya Taylor owes for the cost of 5 wigs.
What's Beauty?
That's her business name. Business Twitter. I don't have a Twitter. Right. I have an Instagram, 2 of them. I have and a business page. That's what I have. I don't have a Twitter. Do you have my Instagram?
I do. Don't talk to each other. Don't ask her any questions. That's so interesting.
What?
From Dora Salon, is that it? Or Dora Salon?
Yes, ma'am. No. I have her LLC.
Just a second. Yeah. Can I see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Dora Dynasty. And here's her LLC, so it matches.
I'd like to see it.
And here you go as well.
Well, this is from Beauty at...
No.
What do you mean, no?
No, my business name is Dora Dynasty.
Yeah. Dora Salon 1 Beauty, Dora Dynasty LLC, Dora's Dynasty.
Right.
And about the same time, the tweet is over 2,000 in wigs. I'll smack those. And then on the 13th, you write, my wigs come tomorrow. And then on October 11th, I'll be wrong if I dispute it once I get it. And then I don't know. What are the...
Because,
what is,
ma'am,
just a sec, I'm reading something. Is not an answer. I didn't ask you anything. What does that mean, Sarah?
It's just an emoji. Like, so what? I don't care.
Oh, I'll be wrong if I dispute it once I get it. So what? But was so rude I can't even ask them questions, telling me I didn't read it. And then she writes, see how you're smiling? Bad. She should have left you home.
Man, please.
Do you understand? She should have left you home.
Nah, they just ain't
You
communicating
should have left
right.
you home.
They ain't communicating right.
I paid all this money for these wigs and these slow rolling. Wow. I assume that those people, the clients that you were talking about, was slow rolling. Would that be a fair statement? I mean, I'm not familiar with all of this. And then you show me in these tweets, or whatever they call them, a picture that was put up by Boo. Is that a name?
Yes.
Now, what is that?
That's her client actually contacting me and telling me that she's charged her for the wigs and that she was never a stylist to begin with. How did I upcharge the fee when they paid for it themselves?
Nobody hears you, madam. Okay, so you acknowledge you got them. Your statement is you no longer have them. She didn't make a deal with you. She made a deal with 4 other phantom clients, 2 of whom either you lost your phone, the dog ate your phone, you don't have the number anymore, you don't have the contact anymore, but we don't know how to get in touch with him. And then there was somebody that actually was wearing one of the wigs that she didn't get paid for, that she got from you.
That's not true.
Could I see the invoice and the chargeback, please?
Yes.
Still not a good look from you.
Well,
yeah, not a good look.
It's funny because it's not true.
Not a good look. You the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Stand up for a minute. Just have a couple of questions. Tell me your name.
Braylon, right?
What do you do for a living?
I'm a barber.
Do you live together?
Yes.
How long have you lived together?
Going on a year.
So you were living with her when these wigs were delivered?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Be an answer. Were you there when she opened the wigs?
One wig she had to put together for a client. Then she opened, she told me what she was doing. I know her. I don't be in no business like that.
So the answer is you were only there when one wig was delivered?
I was only there when she opened one wig.
When she opened one.
And I took her to go pick up a wig from her.
Did you drive her there?
Yeah.
Did you go in with her?
No. She came outside. She walked across the street and got it.
Don't speak. Don't speak. She walked across the street and got it.
From her, yeah. Downtown.
Your Honor, she was actually driving.
Do you work out of the apartment as well?
No.
You work out of a shop?
Yes.
Are you ever there when your girlfriend is working on clients in your house, in the apartment?
Yeah, I've been there.
Often?
Not really. I be gone. Working hours, I'm working. If she work at the house, I'm working at the shop.
How many rooms are in the place where you and the defendant live?
At the time, we was in a 2-bedroom apartment.
And who was there, just the 2 of you?
No, we had a roommate.
So you had 1 bedroom for yourselves, you had a roommate, and then there was a common area, kitchen, living room, right?
Yes.
Where did she conduct her salon business, in what room?
What it would be like, dining room area connected.
In the dining.
Yeah.
And is that where she kept her equipment?
Yes.
Is that where she kept her materials?
Yes.
How many wigs did you see in that dining room area at any one time during the time you were living there?
Maybe 1 she was working on the door, 2, maybe 2 at the most.
You paid rent in the apartment?
Did I pay rent? Nah.
Did she pay rent?
Yes.
How much?
It was like, what, $1,200?
Don't ask her anything.
$1,200. I don't pay the rent, $1,200. I don't pay it, so I don't know.
Why don't you pay anything towards rent?
I don't have to pay the rent if I pay the bills, I pay car notes, I pay different stuff. We 50-50.
Well, if it's 50-50, then you would also pay part of the rent.
Not if it add up to both our car notes, rent, which really be a little bit more.
Okay, so you pay the other bills, she pays the rent.
I moved in with her. I ain't lived there the whole time. I told you it'd only be like a year. She was already staying there. I moved in.
With what did you pay the car note? With a check?
No, I pay with either a car or my money.
Your girlfriend, does she have a car?
Does she have a car?
Yes, yes or a no?
Not right now, she did.
Did she?
Yes.
What kind of a car did she have?
Chevrolet Sonic.
And what happened to that car?
It got, whatever, repoed.
It was repossessed.
They was scamming me on my insurance.
Just a second. I didn't ask you anything. I'm asking your witness. Okay. You brought him.
All right. I'm not the only person you suing. If I pulled up
nobody
why
is listening to you.
Okay, well, can I leave?
No.
Fatoumata Diallo has accused salon owner Kanaya Taylor of stealing 5 wigs. Kanaya says Fatoumata was trying to scam her.
So the car was repossessed. When? Don't look at her. Give me a month, give me a year. Was it recent in the last 3 months, 4 months?
I can't give you a month.
So it was repossessed because of non-payment of whatever the note was, because that's the only basis to repossess a car. Okay. Now, you say you're not living in that same apartment anymore. You were living in this 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh is not an answer.
Yeah.
Yes is an answer. And you're no longer living in that apartment.
No.
And what happened to that apartment?
I moved. She moved with me.
Okay. You moved when?
November.
November of 2021.
Yes.
Just about the time of all these disputes over wigs. Did your roommate remain in the apartment?
Yes.
Did you have a lease in that apartment?
Yes.
Was your lease over, or did you move out during the lease?
It was over, and I renewed it for my roommate.
Now, the lease was in your name.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh is not an answer. Yes is an
ma'am.
answer, and you renewed the lease even though you moved out.
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you living now?
In Conyers.
What kind of place?
House. And I pay all the bills.
And what does your girlfriend do?
She works.
What does she do?
She does lashes. She does hair. She does nails. She's an entrepreneur.
Does she have a website?
Yes.
Yes. What's the name of her website? You think?
Yeah, I think. I don't be on her. I don't shop with her.
Got it?
Looking.
Did you have a conversation with Miss Taylor about these 5 wigs? Did you have a conversation with her?
Yes.
Do you have a cell phone?
Me? No.
Did you ever have a cell phone?
Yes.
What happened to your cell phone?
I broke it, so I went on another one.
And you didn't get another one?
It have to get sent to the house. I just broke it. Like, I just broke it.
You just broke it?
Yeah.
So
Last
you
week.
have a cell phone. Tell me how you broke the cell phone.
I got real angry and I threw it.
You got angry with somebody?
Yes.
And tell me how your girlfriend lost her cell phone.
Oh, she gave it to me.
And when did she lose her cell phone?
She gave me that phone. I bought her another phone. She gave me that
So she
phone
gave you...
around.
just a second. So she gave you the phone that she had been using,
Yes.
which had Joyce information on it. That was the phone she gave you.
I guess so. I don't know Joyce. I don't know who Joyce is.
Sit down. Miss Taylor, you want to be in business, you have to pay for what you ordered. It's
Yeah,
absolutely,
okay.
I'm not speaking to you, it's absolutely outrageous that she sent you these wigs, they were delivered to your house, and she not only doesn't have the wig, she doesn't have not only her profit, she doesn't have any money. And you've got a lot of clients that you can't identify, and phones that got lost, and information that you don't have. And information that you don't have, that you don't have. Clients that are no longer clients, that blocked you. I mean, people who block you after you work for them for a year, that means that you're either doing a lousy job.
No, because the way she came at me, I actually chumped them off because I feel like you're messing up my business. So I chumped them off, and I guess she didn't want to reply, and she just blocked me.
2196, judgment for the plaintiff.
Your Honor, I have other text messages. I was out of business for like month and a half.
I have to tell you something. I can't discern whether you lost business or not because of this. I cannot discern that.
Mm-hmm.
I can give you back the money that you lost as a result of shipping her 5 wigs and not getting compensated for it.
And I also have court fees, and I ordered a PI as well.
But
Just a second.
More people
that
do
I will
this me
hear.
for wigs.
What
You
were
the
your court
scammer?
fees?
I'm not the only person you suing. If I pulled up
Nobody
and bought a wig, why wouldn't I?
Nobody is listening to you.
Okay, well, can I leave?
No.
'Cause it's
Court fees.
like.
And I also have my incident report that day.
Just a second. Would you please just give me the court fees? You said you had court fees and you hired an investigator.
Yes, I did.
And I'd like to see that invoice, because that's you're entitled to.
I have the text messages of my PI.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is that you're handing
that was
me.
the-
I asked you what the court fees were.
I have my PI phone number.
You have nothing.
I didn't print out my court fees, but I do have my more.
Do you have an invoice from the investigator that you say that you hired?
Yes.
And the work that they
Yes,
did?
I have all the messages.
I don't want messages. I need an invoice, a payment.
I did a payment, $400, and we have the text message trying to find her, everything.
Can I see it, please? It was $250 for skip tracing and $150 for service.
My sales went down.
Just a second. Did this person serve her?
Yes, they did.
2196, judgment for the plaintiff. That's it. We're
This
done.
court is adjourned.
I never did it. You know, I just got it sent to my house. We went through everything. We had to go through birthdays. It's like saying, oh, I know a friend that they know how to cut hair, text messages, everything. And then you don't like your haircut. What you want me to pay for your haircut? Like, girl, we literally hawked her down for the information. She honestly messed up my clientele.
It would be easy to be forthcoming with me and saying, these are the clients who I sold it to. I gave her the information. They were supposed to pay her, whatever, but she didn't.
A lot of running around.
A lot of
circle
running
story.
around, and there's no question that the plaintiff sold her those wigs. She made a markup. She made a 25% markup. That's okay. And I'm certain that she put in the wigs and made her own markup. You know, that's commerce. But this ability to reverse charges on a credit card and to have somebody, and it's usually just a person, we're not talking about a committee or a tribunal that determine whether or not the charge was legitimate, just to reverse it. And then where are you? You're left without your product. Very frustrating.
It's a double-edged sword. It can be very useful. I've had to do that on a few different occasions. And the process is very hidden and sort of behind the curtain. And I fear for people like the plaintiff who run their own business, hardworking people who make the best money on the internet because there's no overhead fee of running a store. But these are some of the risks and things that you have to ensure before you get into business.
Well, too bad. Too bad people don't do the right thing. If they did the right thing, we'd be out of business.
Paulina Cardozo is suing Norma Jimenez and her 17-year-old son, Christopher Espinoza, for damages resulting from a car crash.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 2054, Cardozo versus Jimenez Espinoza.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Cardozo, it is your claim that the defendants are responsible for an automobile accident.
Yes.
That both totaled your car and injured you and your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did this accident happen? What date?
On May 6th, Friday, 2022.
What time of the day?
It was around 7:10, 7:20 a.m.
Where were you going?
I was going to drop off my son to his babysitter.
Then where were you going?
Work.
Is that your regular route?
Yeah.
Your last name is?
Espinoza.
How old are you?
17.
You were driving that morning?
Yeah.
Yeah is not an answer.
Yes.
Yes is an answer. Who was in the car with you?
My little sister.
How old is she?
11.
Do you have a driver's license?
Now I do, yeah.
Did you, on May 6th, have a driver's license?
No.
I assume you were taking your sister to school,
Yes.
and then you were taking yourself to school.
Yes.
This was in May. How long had you been driving your sister to school?
6 months.
Where was your mother?
At work.
Did you drop her off at work first?
No.
How does she get to work?
Her own car.
Who owns the car that you were driving?
My mom.
So your mom has two cars.
Yes.
What other adults live in your house?
Just my mom.
Your mother,
Yeah.
your sister,
Yeah.
and you.
Yeah.
When was the car purchased that you were driving with your sister?
It was a gift.
Who was it a gift to?
Me.
Whose name is it in?
My mom's.
When did you get it? Month and year. Don't speak to him. When did you get it?
January.
January of 2022.
Yes.
So that's why you had been driving your sister for 6 months.
Yes.
The car is in your name?
Yes, Your Honor.
You know that he has no right to drive a car.
He had a driver's permit.
I don't care if he had a permit. You know he has no right to drive a car with a minor in the car.
Well, he took some classes, and we were told by the instructor.
No, don't tell me what you were told by the instructor, madam. Your insurance company disclaimed on this if you had insurance because he's not allowed to drive a car. Is that correct?
Yes.
What insurance carrier do you have on your car?
AAA.
Who insures the car that he was driving?
AAA.
On your name?
Yes.
When he had this accident, the insurance company, AAA, disclaimed on the accident because he was driving the car.
Yes.
Did they drop you from your policy? Did they drop your policy?
No.
Did they raise your rates?
No, because I was changing insurance at that time when the accident happened.
So you had no insurance?
We had insurance.
Just look at me. On the 6th of May, do you have proof that there was insurance on the car that he was driving?
Yes, Your Honor.
What carrier?
AAA.
And when did you change carriers?
It was May 5th,
but it wasn't going to be affected until the following week.
So you had no insurance?
I hadn't called AAA to let them know that I was changing insurance at that time.
I don't believe.
I was changing.
Just a second. You have to understand, madam, that to make your life more comfortable so that you could go to work and your little girl could get to school, you let an unlicensed driver drive a car. You have to understand that because he could have killed her and the child. It's outrageous that you let your 17-year-old who didn't have a license drive your 11-year-old daughter, put them in a place where they were in harm's way. You're just very lucky that both of them weren't hurt. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If you think I'm being harsh, sir, I watched you when you walked in. You thought this whole thing was a joke. You came in smiling. It's not a smiling thing. You did the wrong thing, and if you start doing the wrong thing when you're 17 years old, when you're 27 years old, your mother will come visit you someplace where you don't want to be. Do you understand?
I smile when I'm nervous.
Excuse me?
I smile when I'm nervous.
You smile when you're nervous. Yeah. Well, your mother smiles when she's nervous, too, because she was smiling, too.
Yeah.
When you walked in here. What, you're not smiling now. You mean you're not nervous now? You're not smiling now. Now you're not nervous. Now I would be nervous. If I were you, I would be nervous. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened 7:30 in the morning on the 6th of May, which was a school day and a work day.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. So I was driving straight like normal on East, on Pleasant Valley. And as I was going on a green light into my intersection...
Do you have a photograph? Do you have any...
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
And May 6th was a Friday, just so you know. May 6th was a Friday.
Yeah. Thanks. Your car is the red car?
Yes, Your Honor.
This doesn't tell me anything, actually. It just shows your car totally destroyed. Do you have a police report?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see a police report.
Yeah, and I'll put it so she can kind of see my car, his car.
This is the diagram that the police prepared.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you were going straight?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he was making a left turn?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were through the intersection?
Yes.
Looks as if you were through the intersection.
About to be. It was like in the middle of the intersection.
What kind of citations were you issued, sir?
Just without a license.
What?
Without a license.
Okay. I'm just letting you know, Ms. Jimenez, the plaintiff had visible injuries that the police noted. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The airbags went off?
All of them, Your Honor.
Other than the marks that you had on you as a result of the seatbelts and the airbags going off, did you have any other injuries?
So that was actually my son.
That was your son?
Yeah, that was my son because of the seatbelts. Mine were both of my arms because when the airbags deployed, it crushed all my side. So both my arms were bleeding.
You were making a left turn?
Yeah.
She was going straight?
Yes.
You had a green light, but she was going straight and she had a green light. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That means you can't left turn. If she's going straight, that means she's got a green light. That's what it was. And you have to wait until she goes before you make a left turn.
Yeah.
Were they at the scene at the same time at any time?
No.
When your mother says that she asked Miss Cardoza, are you okay? That wasn't true.
No.
Was it true or it wasn't true?
And later today.
You have no proof here of anything. So I'm asking you, you want nothing or do you want your car back?
I want your $10,000. I'd rather have my car back than nothing.
And I'm sorry.
Paulina Cardozo claims Norma Jimenez and her 17-year-old son, Christopher Espinoza, owe for damages resulting from a car crash.
Okay. Now, when you got there, you started to yell at her. You want to tell me why? You want to tell me why you were yelling at her?
I didn't even yell at her. I got to the place, and then there was somebody waiting for me and told me that she had just hit them, like the person that there was a witness.
You can't tell me. Yeah.
There was somebody
he hit her.
Well, there was somebody that saw the accident, but that person unfortunately couldn't be here.
Okay. But I'm asking you why you were yelling at her. Did you have a conversation with her?
I never had a conversation with her. I just asked her, "Are you okay?" And then she said, "They're taking my son to the hospital." That's all she said. And when I got there, the firefighter told me.
No, don't tell me what anybody told you, madam. Don't tell me what anybody told you. You called your mother?
Yes.
You used your cell phone?
No.
How did you call her?
My sister.
You used your sister's?
Yes.
And she came right over?
Yes.
Miss Cardoza was there when your mother got there?
Yes.
You want to answer me? Did your mother and Miss Cardoza, were they at the scene at the same time at any time?
No.
Before she was taken to the hospital?
No.
When your mother says that she asked Miss Cardoza, "Are you okay?" that wasn't true.
No.
Was it true or it wasn't true?
It was true.
It was true, so that well, how did she communicate with Miss Cardoza if she didn't ask her, if she wasn't there? I'm going to ask you again. Was your mother at the scene when Miss Cardoza was also at the scene?
Yes.
And did you tell your mother that the accident was Miss Cardoza's fault?
No.
What did you tell your mother?
That we got in a car accident.
She didn't ask you what happened? Come on.
Yes.
Come on. Your mother asked you what happened?
Yeah.
And what did you tell her?
What happened?
Well, let me hear what you told your mother happened.
I was going in East Pleasant Valley Road. I put my left turn signal to go to the left turn lane.
You were in the left turn lane?
Yes.
And?
I waited to turn and turn.
And?
I was there and she swerved in and hit me.
She what?
She swerved in and hit me.
She swerved and hit you while you were making a left turn. She swerved into you. That's what you told your mother?
Yes.
Yeah. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $10,000. We're finished.
This court is adjourned.
I feel like she was very fair.
To my understanding, what they have told me is like he was allowed to drive.
It's been a hardship for us.
And that's why I let him drive.
I was scared. I didn't know if he had broken something or something worse.
I only asked her, "Are you guys okay? Like, what happened?" Somebody told me that it was you that hit them.
Till this day, it's haunting. My son doesn't like to get in the car anymore, so it's straining.
He wasn't even cited for the accident. He was cited for not having a license.
I think she thought it was my fault, and I feel like she still thinks it's my fault, but it was not my fault.
She was the one that hit him.
You need to have insurance, and you need to know how to drive.
I'm glad it's over.
This is a public service announcement to the governor of the state of California. Do everybody a favor. Propose legislation that mandates that if you drive without a license as an underage driver and you're caught and or have an accident, you are ineligible to get a driver's license until you're 25 years old. That would probably be a deterrent for some people. Something is wrong with the system. Those are my words for the day.
Case number 2061, Laura versus Burke. All parties, please step forward.
Michael Laura is suing car seller Donald Burke for a vintage car title.
Mr. Lara.
Yes, Your Honor.
You had a truck.
Yes.
And that truck was a 2007.
Yes, Your Honor.
Nissan Frontier.
Correct.
When did you purchase it?
I purchased it in 2019.
From whom?
From a private owner. I don't have his name, but I purchased it over on an auto app.
So you found it online?
Yeah.
So it's still online. How much did you pay for the car in 2019?
In 2010, I paid $10,000.
I don't believe that. Let's try it one more time, Mr. Lara. Exactly how much did you pay for the car in 2019?
$10,000, Your Honor.
Show me a bill of sale.
I don't have that bill of sale from back then.
Okay.
I have only the title that I had.
Okay. Let's assume for the moment that that's almost accurate, because the truck is now worth
somewhere between $8,000 and $9,000.
So that would be a depreciation. So now it's worth $8,000.
Okay.
You decided to sell it.
Correct. To trade it.
And you put an ad online to sell it?
Yes, I did.
You, Mr. Burke, had a 1947 classic Chrysler sedan.
Yes.
When did you get that?
Beginning of the year.
Beginning of
22.
And where did you get it from?
A car dealer had it for sale.
Car dealer where?
Montclair, California.
You remember the name of the car dealer?
No, ma'am, I don't.
But it was the beginning of 2022.
Yes.
And was it an ad online?
No, I was driving by and saw the car. I kind of liked the way it looked.
How much did you pay for it?
$12,500.
Do you have a bill of sale?
No.
That was just this year. Why don't you have a bill of sale?
I have the registration and title.
I don't need the registration and title. I need a bill of sale.
I don't have one.
Difference when you buy it from a private party, but if you buy... Do you have... It was the beginning of January. How did you pay for the car?
Cash.
Cash. Do you have a withdrawal from your bank of $12,500 to show me?
No, I don't.
Well, how do you expect me to decide this case? You have a claim, you have a counterclaim. Nobody has any proof. How do you expect me to decide? Each of you is suing the other for $10,000 without any proof of anything. How do you expect me to decide that?
Correct, Your Honor.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yes.
You have the title. You have the keys. You have the truck. Understand this. Neither one of you are leaving here with a penny. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
No, I don't.
Michael Lara claims car seller Donald Burke owes him the title to a vintage car. Donald is countersuing, claiming Michael broke their agreement.
Okay. Do you have a car now?
Yes, I have a 2001 GMC truck.
No. You have his car?
Oh, yes, I have his car, yes.
You have his car?
Yes.
And you have his truck?
Yes.
What do you want me to do?
I wasn't the one that started this.
Okay, Your Honor.
He doesn't have the title.
Well, he never produced the money that he was supposed to produce.
I have his title to his vehicle. He signed it over to me, and he gave me the keys as well.
Okay. I didn't ask you anything. Well, I want you have the title, you have the keys, you have the truck.
Correct, Your Honor.
My question to you is, you have the title to his car. He paid, let's assume he's correct, that he paid $12,500 for the car in the beginning of 2022. That car, which is a classic car, is now for sale, because I looked it up, I don't remember the numbers, for?
Between $18,000 and $60,000 on the high end of what I've seen.
Okay, so it's worth considerably more than what you paid for it. Roughly $10,000 more than what you paid for it, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
You don't know him, do you?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
There would be no reason why he would make you a gift. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you have the title for that car.
Yes.
Because you say, according to you, that he didn't fulfill his promise.
Correct.
His contract to pay you an additional amount for it. Now, you say he agreed to pay you an additional $10,000 for it.
Yes.
I don't know that because none of it's in writing. Anybody have any proof of that?
No, Your Honor.
No. No. Good. And you want your car back?
I would just...
You want your car? Well, I'm not giving you $10,000. I want you to just understand that.
Yes.
Because you have no proof here of anything that satisfies me. So I'm asking you, you want nothing or do you want your car back?
I want your $10,000.
I'd rather have my car back than nothing.
You'd rather than have your car back. And
I'm sorry.
You have the car.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
And you put in some money in the truck.
Yes, the catalytic converters were bad.
How much money did you put into the truck?
$2,165.
Okay. And you have proof of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where?
Can I help him?
I don't need you for anything.
Here. And it still needs another $2,165 for the other side.
And you have the title to the car, is that right?
Yes.
Now, do you want nothing or do you want your truck back, even though he added money to it? Do you want nothing or do you want your truck back? That's my question to you. You want nothing or you want your truck back?
My truck.
Great. And you want your car back?
Yes.
Perfect. And both of you have agreed, because there was clearly some misunderstanding between the two of you, giving you the total benefit of the doubt, sir, that there was additional money to be forthcoming. I'm speaking. Understand this. Neither one of you are leaving here with a penny. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
No, I don't. I put
very
$2,000
easy. Very easy, sir. You're getting back a car that you say is worth she says, is worth $20,000.
Your Honor, sorry.
It's not going to work for you. You're going to each end up with your own cars back. Since there was clearly a misunderstanding about the nature of the contract, what I'm telling you is I'm going to prepare an order that within 5 days of today's date, you are to exchange cars. Figure out where you want to do that, a mutually convenient place. That's the order of the court. Goodbye.
Court is adjourned.
Not even the $2,000 I put in his truck?
Goodbye.
This way, sir.
You can sell your 47 for a lot more money.
I didn't bring us here. He brought us here.
I like this car. He liked my truck. When I got there, we did the exchange. He signed the titles. He gave me the keys to the vehicle.
Well, he gave me a truck that needed a $4,000 repair, and he didn't mention that when he gave it to me. And my car, was nothing wrong with my car.
I have always maintained my vehicle. I have records of it and everything.
I'll just keep my car.
No more business deals.
So I really agree with you that there was no meeting of the minds because the defendant thought that the plaintiff was going to pay him an additional $10,000 for the 1947 Chrysler, and no one had any proof of anything. So it's really hard to come to court with zero proof on either side. So I think your ruling to leave them how they were found prior to any what they believed to be a contract was the right decision because...
I'm so glad you felt that way.
Well, I mean, I was thinking to myself, looking over the papers, what's she going to do with this one? You know, it's hard because with no proof and a he said, she said verbal agreements with tangible items like vehicles, I probably would have done the same thing. I don't know what to make of this. I have nothing to look at, nothing to rely on.
And it was so interesting because they both bought these cars recently.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them had bill of sale, said he paid cash, $12,500, showed me where you withdrew the money from a bank, the whole...
क्या कर रहे हो? क्या? रोटी खा रहे हो? रोटी खा रहा है? किसके साथ खा रहा है? किसके साथ? चिकन। चिकन कहाँ से आया? दे दे यार। तू ला दे रहा यार। जान ला दे रहा यार। Hello guys, how are you? I hope so you all are fine. We are meet in my first vlog, guys. Let's start. We are showing you what I have. I have a key. I have a key. And I have a watch, luxury watch. I have bought this watch in 8,000. And this boy is killer. You know killer? What is killer? Guys, it's my father. Brother. I will show them who is this. Show your face.
Nothing.
Bold boy. Show your face.
No.
Guys, he is a beggar. So I think so. He is a thief. My plug thief. My motorbike plug thief. He's a thief, guys. Check this. He's a thief. Guys, I hope so. You will find this guy. Get out. Okay guys, चलते हैं next video में मिलते हैं.